Hey guys, what's going on? Today I am here. I was actually asked by a friend of mine to do a tier list on League of Legends champions. And I'm going to be talking about their design, but let me finish explaining. Um, I'm doing a tier list on all the League champs uh, based on basically how good I think they are for like the game, right? Not like how good they are in 13.3, not like how strong I think they are, how much I like to play them. I like genuinely. This is like I think these champions are this good um, for the game. I like and so if something isn't harmful, I genuinely think the game would be more fun without them. Uh, that's not me hating necessarily on people who play those champions. Just like I think these champs are bad. Near perfect is I really like it. I think they did a great job designing it in theory. Every time Riot touches something, it can get worse, right? So if I have a near perfect champion and they do a balance patch on it, they might purposely break it, and then it's a problem. Yes, and there's a such thing as being too consistent. Um, but when I say flaws, I don't mean like the champion is bad. What I mean by that is like the champion has issues in its gameplay. I think that cause a problem for the overall game. Does that make sense? I'm gonna go ahead and get started because I don't want to make this video take forever. And we're starting with Aatrox. So, pre-work Aatrox was just I don't even know why he was in the game. Post rework is awesome design wise. The gameplay is fun. So I think, well, let's put it this way. I think he's up here somewhere. I think I'm gonna put him in serious flaws, and here's the problem, or here's the reason I see that. Right, I think he's super fun to play. I think he's really cool. I think he's really mechanically unique. All those things are great. He has cool reset mechanics. He has a cool lore gameplay like synergy. Right. My problem with Aatrox, and this goes, it's like unfortunate, right? Any champion I think that has like is too closely tied to like healing is an issue. I think champion's identity is being like I suck you dry and I'm unkillable is just a dangerous slope to play. So basically, this guy's going to be good and bad depending on the time of year, 100%. So when they do things like nerf Grievous Wounds, this guy's going to be broken for a few patches, and then they're going to buff Grievous Wounds, and then he's going to be awful again. You know what I mean? Or like they buff things like Death Dance, and they buff things like Ravenous Hydra, they buff things like Gore Drinker. He's good again, and then they nerf him. And so I really think champions that rely too much on items are a problem. So I'm going to say serious flaws for him. I think that's pretty fair. This isn't me hating on Aatrox. I think he's really cool. I think he's a good addition to the game, but I think he needs to stand stronger on his own and be less reliant on being broken, right? So give him more power, but then take his drain tank ability, like take it down a little bit. And you know, this is a fine identity. Again, it's just riding a balance, right? Ari's good. This champion is really fair. When they did the rework on her, she's up here. After the rework, I'm gonna put her here. Um, I will mention one flaw about Ari. It's really obnoxious to play against a champion this safe. It's really annoying. You can't kill her unless she kills herself. Just honestly. And honestly, I don't think that's the worst thing ever, but it can lead to like boring lane phases, and I understand why people have a problem with that. But this champion's just, I would say, perfectly down the middle, right? It's great for beginners. It's not very powerful. It's not super great at team fighting. I don't think it ever was super broken. I think Ari is pretty reasonable, pretty basic mid laner. I think it's pretty fair. Um, I will also say there's like so many champions I think she's gonna struggle to kill. You know, I think she's pretty reasonable, and I'm not putting up here just because I like nostalgic about this champion. I just don't think like perfect. I hate calling Ari perfect because I'm not the biggest fan of this champion to be honest, but I really don't think it's unfair. Like I think it's about as fair as a champion gets. I cannot think many times shorter people just baby raging they're stuck against it every game that Ari has ever like made like really been overpowered. I don't think so anyway. And even like there are certain champions, right? Even if they have like a 55% win rate, I don't think they're that bad. And Ari is one of those. Her resets too. I don't love every champion getting reset mechanics, but I don't think her reset is that bad, honestly. And again, it's a lot of like knowledge check stuff, right? Like Master Yi is not like the most broken champion in the game, unless all your teammates are awful. So I think it's the same way. Akali, I love Akali. I love what they did with her. Oh god, what have I done? I love what they've done with her rework. I like her mechanics. I think. I want to put her in serious flaws. Do I think she's better or worse than Aatrox? Aatrox. I mean, I think Aatrox might. No, I think Akali's more problematic than Aatrox is. So, the problem with Akali, there's a lot of things. She doesn't have a resource bar. I think energy is kind of a mistake, to be honest. It's kind of ridiculous because you can sit there and just sit in lane for so long, you know what I mean? And you never run out. Her Q cooldown is so low. Even early game is so low. All of her abilities are so good. Her W is good. Yeah. I think there's just too much here. And there's like, she takes too much agency from other characters. I think it's like specifically like 80 carries. If you don't buy Shield Bow, you basically can't play against this champion. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, she really barely has to outplay you to kill you. And I think it is a problem. I really love this champion's design and his kit. So much fun to play. 100%. But being on the other end, it's annoying. And I will say this champion has plenty of weaknesses. But I think, like, the versatility and just generally, like, taking agency away from certain characters, I think is kind of an issue. Like, she might need to be toned back a little bit. And there's a lot of things like this. She's not the worst offender, but... Okay, Akshan. Akshan is, This guy is in the bottom 2 tiers for me. I'm not sure if he should, like, be removed from the game or not, is what I'm thinking. I'm gonna go with Harmful, and here's why. This is a champion that has to always have a 42% win rate, or else he's not fair. And even that doesn't make him fair. He just has too many tools. He has incredible wave clear. He has an 80 carry that benefits from building on hit, and he can go either way. On hit's definitely better because he gets double autos. I think double autos are just generally like a little bit of a suspect thing to keep in the game sometimes. But yeah, this guy, he just has so much, and then his grappling hook and it resets on kills. It's ridiculous. His R's kind of ridiculous. I think the fact that it's blocked by towers and minions is good. If it weren't, this would be insane. But really, my big problem is the reviving people. This makes it so that League of Legends, like, any game where you go to late game with this champion in the game is just going to be obnoxious. And I don't really think ARAM is what I would refer to as like the most important things of the game, but this guy is terrible in ARAM. Like, he is so ridiculous in ARAM. But both ways, I think this mechanic is just harmful to the game. Like, reviving teammates, I don't think this is a good idea. They don't just come back to the fight. This is true. But I think it's a silly mechanic, and it's like playing games with things that we shouldn't have in the game in the first place. And I think his kit's too much. Like, I think he has too many things. He has, like, perma-stealth. He's, an 80 carry that can go in other lanes. I think 80 carries going mid and top really need to be curated because they often kind of ruin the experience for other players. And so, I don't know. I'm not really willing to argue that he's any less than problematic. I can see him being problematic because, like, in a lot of ways, his design's cool. But he's a problem, like, definitively. Alistar. I like this champion a lot. Is he perfect? I want to say... Damn it. I want to say minor flaws. And the only problem I have with Alistar is damage reduction is kind of dumb. Damage, like, this guy being able to walk into a tower and take 84 tower hits is ridiculous. No. That's my only complaint. This guy's so fair. So, such a good champion for the game, honestly. And the damage reduction might be the only reason I don't put near perfect. I would almost prefer his R or just another form of CC. And because it's gross, like what he can do, right? But like I think this champion's super fair. I think even if he didn't change, he wouldn't be terrible for the game. You know, I think like if every champion were in minor flaws, this game would be amazing. Okay, like insanely good. Not everything can be near perfect, but I think Alistar is super reasonable. Amumu, ooh, Amumu. Uh, oh, what do I think about Amumu? I like Amumu. He's simple. I think. Ooh, I think I want to put Amumu here. I think Amumu's good. I think he might be a little bit too simplistic as a champion, and that is a flaw because if you can predict everything a champion can do, they're a lot less scary, right? Like so, like Aatrox and Akali, for example, are good examples like of like champions that have so much potential. Like they have so many weird tricks they can do that there's no way you're ever going to understand it as much as the one tricks do. Amumu, not so much. Like you play a few games against Amumu, you kind of understand what he can do. You can always pull off cool tricks with him, but I don't think he's like I don't know. He's just a little too linear in his kit. I think he's pretty fair. I think he's pretty balanced, pretty reasonable. I don't think there's anything wrong with him. I wouldn't put him near perfect. Because honestly, I think he's just kind of boring. To be honest, there's just not enough going on for me to put him in perfect, right? Like, I don't think he could keep people busy for that long. I don't think you would put 50,000 games on Amumu, for example. But, I don't know. That's where I'm at with that. Anivia. Oh, God. I want to put Anivia in problematic. I don't like this champion. Which is surprising because it's an older one, right? But it is riding the line of what is okay in League of Legends. Instantly clearing waves with one ability. Putting up walls. I think walls are a cool mechanic, but walls, unfortunately, that like on this cooldown are kind of gross against certain champions. So like I think like I love. Oh, this is a little bit of spoiler. I love Sion. I think Sion's a great champion, and I think like Trundle and Anivia are just like way like ridiculous counters to him. Like just unfair. It takes no brain. And counter picks are fun, but that's not the only thing Anivia does, right? So on top of all that. She's obviously a control mage, but she really functions as a burst mage as well. She has a GA built into her kit, which is very obnoxious. What that often means is, depending on what you're playing, you have to kill her twice to kill her, which isn't often possible in the mid lane. It depends what you're playing for sure. Like if you're playing a mage or an assassin with important cooldowns, you're probably not going to be able to kill her egg again. So that's a little bit annoying. And I really feel like the egg cooldown is not long enough. Maybe that is the problem. But I just think this champion is just too good, too consistent in what it does. It's really clear that she prefers certain metas, right? Like when damage is super high and people can just easily kill her 2 times. Okay, yeah, and like she's terrible, right? But like you get these like tank metas where you have like these mage mids that just clear the wave and just like they just don't interact. This is awful. This is terrible. And I hate that for the game. I hate a mid lane meta where you press one ability on the wave and then walk out of mid lane. That is terrible. And this champion, not a fan as a support either. But excuse me, sorry guys. So yeah, I think she's problematic. I think she needs a very serious rework. And theoretically, I'd like to get the egg out of there too. Annie. I want to put Annie here. I think Annie's really reasonable. The reason I put Annie in minor flaws and not near perfect, it's very simple. There's one mechanic on this champion that just never works right, and it's Tibbers. Tibbers just, his AI is stupid. He loses vision. He acts like an idiot. I don't know what to say other than it's too frustrating. Like, if you die and watch Tibbers act and try to kill someone, It's so frustrating every time. It'd be better if he just disappeared when you died. Because Tibbers is so dumb. And the AI is so dumb. Even when you're controlling him, it's dumb, right? And I feel this way about Daisy, too. Obviously, that's coming later. That is just a huge problem with the kit, and it's very frustrating. And it's very stupid it works like that. And I think that's something that should be fixed. Just me personally. But otherwise, I think Champion's really fair. She's very straightforward. She does one thing. She really heavily relies on Flash, which is kind of rough. Not the worst thing ever, but like maybe not the healthiest kit ever at the same time. But like again, like she's really reasonable, really fair. Oh, excuse me, sorry guys. But yeah, no, in general, I think she's totally fine for the game. Aphelios. I think Aphelios is in the problematic tier. I don't like Aphelios because he's too complicated. He doesn't really belong in this game, right? Like, League of Legends is so complicated as it is. Every champion has 4 abilities, right? I have to learn 4 abilities. Aphelios is not the same. He's got all these different guns, and he gets stats instead of ability level ups. It's just, he's so weird and different, which can be good, but I think generally just is an annoying thing. Like, we all have to learn what Aphelios does so we understand how to play against him, or we don't, and we just occasionally lose to a champion that we never play against. Very annoying. I'm not the biggest fan of, like, obnoxious, like, how do I put it? Like, hyper carry AD carries either. I kind of like them to be more balanced. Like they have utility and they have damage. I'm not a huge fan of the, I'm like a mortar and I'm going to sit back here, and if I get attacked, and I'm going to die, and if I don't, then I'm going to win this team fight by myself. It's kind of lame. So I'm not a big fan of Aphelios. He's cool. He has weird mechanics and stuff, I guess. So he's like unique and he makes the game more diverse, but I think he's kind of just a problem, and if they buff him at all, he could ruin the game any moment, the way I see it. So I think he's a problem. Bigger problem than Anivia, though? I think Anivia's a bigger problem than he is. Yeah. Ashe. Ashe is going right here. I wish I could put Ashe in perfect because she would be, and she was, but she's not. So Ashe has changed with ability haste. Ashe support is the problem. 100% Ashe support is terrible. If I were ranking Ashe based off Ashe support, it would be harmful. 100%. So let me put it this way. I can't do that. Well, actually, you know what? No. Yeah. I have to rank Ashe as the lowest common denominator until it's gone, right? So, I'd say problematic. That's where I'm going to compromise. Ashe ADC, perfect. I love that for the game. That's great. Ashe support, no. That's not okay. This, like, shovey, I spam W, my R is up every 20 seconds. This nonsense is not okay. I think Ashe was a great AD carry. I think back in like season 6, 7, I love the way this played for AD carry. I love the metas where you see Ashe as an AD carry. Ashe support is terrible. You guys watch the LCS or not? It's terrible. Nobody wants to play this. So I don't want to hate on this champion, but it does belong down here and it is a problem. And I will say straight up, there are more broken champions that are more okay because they're less awful for the game than her. Like, she makes the game so awful for everyone when she plays support. Nobody wants us as support. I'm really sad I have to put her down there too, because I think she could easily be up here. Like actually, honestly, honest to God, if she couldn't go support and she like had some kind of check for this ability haste, I would put her up there with Ahri. I'd put her above Ahri, honestly. New Aurelion. He's cool. I like his general overall kit. I like his story integration kind of stuff, you know. Aurelion, I want to say he's in serious flaws. I need to spend more time with this champion, so he's still pretty new. I think in general, though, he's just way too safe. He has all these abilities he can farm from really far away with, like at a distance. He doesn't want to play lane with you. He just wants to ignore you. I think he might be in problematic. He just wants to ignore you and go roam and do stuff, right? He's a super scaler. It's really hard to stop him from scaling because he's just going to finish his Roa and he's just going to stack on minions and he's just going to get there anyway. So, I mean, I don't really... Like, I think it's good that he's fun to play. And this is what, like, my conflict is, like, the kit is cool. The champion's cool. I like that. I think as a champion in the game that you have to play against, he's really annoying. And maybe they just have to tweak something, but he's kind of ridiculous. And I also am not a huge fan of like Roa champs, which goes back to Anivia as well, because their goal is just to do the same amount of damage and just not be easily killed. I think mages should be squishy. As a mage player, I think mages should be squishy, right? Like, I don't like this, like Swain is different, right? For example, Swain, perfect example. I'm okay with that being tanky. But Aurelion Sol, Victor, Anivia, Brand, Zyra have no business being tanky. If you're one-shotting people, you should be one-shottable. That seems like that's fair. You know what I mean? So, that's my 2 cents on that. And that's not, that's not unique to Aurelion Sol. But I thought I would bring it up. Azir. Huh. I really like Azir. I think... Minor flaws or serious flaws? So he is a problem. I think I'll put him as serious flaws. Because I really like him. His kit's sick. Everything he is sick, right? I really like Azir. My problem with Azir, a few things. He's so strong. Like this, he is just built to be good in League of Legends. I don't know what to say. They like designed him to be good. And what can I say? I mean, that makes a champion good. You know what I mean? He's great for pro play. He's exactly what pro players want. He's highly mechanical, yes, but he puts out so much damage. He's so safe and he's so aggressive at the same time. Like, he's so versatile, really, right? He's got a teamfight ultimate that has so many different purposes and so many ways to be used. And he's just a bastard laner, right? He's just poking you under tower. He's going to be up in your face. He's great at roaming. He just has everything a mid laner could ever want on a kit. And that makes him really cool. But, yeah, he's going to be a problem pretty often. You know what I mean? They're going to have to nerf him all the time. Because you're going to have your respective fakers go pick him up when he's good and win every game. And, yeah, that's true. That's not interesting to watch. So, that's kind of the problem with Azir. And that's my 2 cents on that. Bard. Oh, God. Bard. How do I like... I like Bard, right? Bard has a really cool kit. Unfortunately, this champion has caused a lot of problems. Because there's like really no better champion to grief on than Bard. There's no better champion for like getting your teammates killed than Bard. Genuinely, like, it's insane. 2 of his 4 abilities can instantly kill one of your teammates. And sometimes it's not even on purpose. He's a really cool champion design. I think he's kind of obnoxious. Like, I feel like he does maybe a little bit too much damage. Like, I would be more okay if he were like more of a tank instead of like, because he's riding the line of a tank and a mage. I would kind of prefer here more in the tank direction. So like, you know what I mean? Like more of a Thresh and less of a Brand support, which is what he can feel like sometimes. But really, I think his kit's so cool. It's just, it sucks that we sacrificed having a cool kit in the game for having someone who's so good at griefing their teammates. And I know that's like a weird thing. Like maybe I should put him higher, because maybe it's not the design's fault, but then like he just opens the way for trolling, right? I mean, kind of Anivia the same way too, which is also another problem. Maybe I'm going too hard on Bard. He is really powerful, very good in the right hands. You know what? I'll put him here. I think I'll put him here. Because he doesn't deserve to be below Aatrox. I don't want to do my boy like that, but he's a little bit of a problem. Bel'Veth. Yeah, no, this is bad. This is one of these 2 tiers. This okay, so first of all, I'm gonna keep asking this question to myself for the rest of the time that I play League of Legends. Like, was Master Yi not enough? You know what I mean? Like, this is one of these pentakill fetish champions, right? Where like we're gonna build a kit and hope we can 1v5 with it, and we're just not gonna have like basically any utility or anything. Like her whole kit is I want to snowball. She wants to kill people. She wants to get her form. She wants to go to a lane with Rift Herald and end the game in 10 minutes. That's kind of her goal. Like, I don't really think this is a really unique champion for the game. She is not as bad as Akshan. I will say that first and foremost. But she just... I don't get the call for this champion this game at all, to be honest with you. I don't really like it. I think Bel'Veth players might enjoy playing her because the kit's probably fun. I won't lie, I haven't played a lot of Bel'Veth, but like the kit looks fun enough. You know, Master Yi-esque champions where you go in and 1v3 and win feel good. Crit champions feel good. But I don't think that makes a good design. And I really don't like having this champion in the game. I don't like what it does. I don't like that it has the potential to run in a lane and basically get Baron at 10 minutes. Like, that's so stupid. Like she like recreates having Baron buff. It's so... No, I'm good. And we really need more diverse junglers and not more like clones. You know what I mean? Like the old joke was like Tryndamere clones, so they reworked half those Tryndamere clones, so it's better. This is just like another like I want a 1v5 jungler. I don't like it at all. I don't like its identity. I don't think there's anything worthwhile in this champion. Gotta be honest. I have nothing nice to say. I'm sorry if you like this champion. Blitzcrank, much better champion. Blitzcrank is like, you know, in a way, I'm going to say it's kind of like Olaf. I feel like he's just like Olaf, but like maybe way more reasonable, right? So he's really powerful in the early game. He has these like really busted tools for killing people. And you have to play map control, and that's your job. And you really just got to get stuff done in the early game before you fall off. Because eventually your tools are just way less important, right? Like your Q means so much less at 30 minutes than it does at 10. I like this design. I like things that like force this. He has a silence, which is his ultimate, which I think is reasonable. I really like this champion, actually. Do I have any problems with it? I don't think so. I think I want to put it in the top tier because excuse me, guys. I'm sorry, I'm still a little sick. I think he's just good. I think he does good things for the game. I really like him. And, yeah, I don't know. I think he's reasonable. I think his trade-off is good. Brand. Brand. Brand has not been good for a long time. I'm going to be honest, first of all. This guy is... He's really simple. He does have a fun kit to play with. It is amusing. I don't know if he's... I think he's, like, reasonable for the most part. Is he... let's put him here for now. So my problem with Brand is he was designed as a mid laner, and he basically lost all traction as a mid laner a long time ago and became a support. But it's still treated like a mid laner, right? They still make changes to him every so often to make him better in mid, but he's still a support, right? Like, he still only plays support. So we have a support with mechanics that are meant to be used mid. Like, conflagration is really annoying for everyone involved in bot lane. That's so annoying. It's annoying for your AD carries trying to last hit. It's annoying for the enemies who are just trying to exist in the lane. Like, Brand isn't, like, broken. I think, like, it's really easy to just pop this guy. Even if he builds, like, a Roa, Archangels, nonsense, Zanyas, it's still not that hard, necessarily, to kill him. Especially, like, if he gets out of position. But his R just does so much... you know, let me put it this way. I think he's totally fine outside of lane phase. I think he's just one of the most, like, abusive, obnoxious supports in the game. And I'm not, like, the biggest fan of, like, the most kill lane supports. Like, this is a little bit too much. Like, and his kit, again, is built for mid. So you're going to be constantly, like, fucking with the wave. So... you kind of just don't get to choose how to play as AD carry if you have a Brand support. Because you're going to push the wave all the time. 100% of the time. Or else you can't play the game, right? You know what I mean? Um, I feel like I'm not like the biggest fan of Brand, but like a few changes and he could be there. You know what I mean? Like I don't hate this champion. I wouldn't put him. I don't mean it to say I hate these champions, but I wouldn't put him down there. All right. This is the line right here, right? Like these have to change, or else they are just gumming up the game, right? That's the way I see it. These, I don't know how to change these. I don't know how to fix this. It might be better just control or alt F4, or whatever. But Braum is great. I can think like his wall is kind of obnoxious, but it's really fair. So I want to put him up here. I think Braum is really reasonable. I think Braum is really fair. Everyone kind of understands how he works. It doesn't take long to figure it out. Is he better than Blitzcrank? I think I like Blitzcrank more. So, yeah, I'm going to put him up here. He's a great support. I wish more tank supports were more like him. I wish new supports... Like, I feel like he's fallen off because of the creep in the game. And he's honestly just a little bit too fair. But I think the fair supports are where it's at. I miss the days where people wanted to be Braum and Thresh mains. I hate that now support is overrun by, like, Brand. And then, other nonsense like Ashe. Like, this is disgusting. This is, like, ugh. It's like your respective shitter supports. I'm not sorry. Caitlyn. I like Caitlyn. She's a little mean. I don't want to put her in perfect. Because she's a little unfun to play against in lane. But I feel like she's come back in past years. And maybe that's power creep in the game. But, like, she felt so much more oppressive before than she does now. Would I put her... I think this is fair. I just really feel like her whole kit, again, is another one that's pretty easy to understand. It's pretty straightforward. I don't think it breaks the game. I think she just has, like, really good tools. Like, she's really strong at what she does, and she has really strong points and really weak points during the game. If you understand how Caitlyn works, you can play around this champion. It's totally fair. And that's kind of how I think, like, all of these are, right? It's like, you can play around these champions if you understand what they do. You should, like, generally probably never just lose because you existed, like, if you understand what's going on. This is where, like, you can understand their kits and still lose to it without them being better than you. I guess if that makes sense, because they just have so much weird shit. I don't know. But yeah, I think Caitlyn's good. Some people might disagree with that. I think it's fine. I think lane bullies are going to exist in the game. You know what I mean? I think it's fine. Yeah. That's my opinion on Caitlyn. Camille? Camille. What do I do with you? Camille's pretty fair and straightforward. I think her R is a little silly, but it's, it's an ultimate. It has a cooldown. I feel like it's not too unreasonable. Where would I put you? Yeah, I think Camille's up there. I find myself frustrated with this champion a lot, but I think it's because like people either know how to play against her or they don't. And I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put her there. I think she's fine. I think she's fair. I don't think she's unreasonable. Her ult can be frustrating, but again, it's just another thing. Like, it's up. You have to play around it. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many champions that are so much worse about that. Like, there's some champions that change the way you play the game completely. She's not like that. Yeah, no, I think she's fine. Cassiopeia. Ooh. Ugh. Yeah, no, I'm not putting her anywhere nice. I'll tell you that much. She is a big problem. Is she... I won't put her quite in harmful, I don't think. I have a lot of problems with Cass, though. Yeah, let's put her here. So, Cass should not be allowed to go top lane. I don't know how exactly to make that happen. This champion is a mid laner. It needs to be a mid laner. It needs to be a scaling mid laner that's easy to gank and has a weak lane phase. This is what she's supposed to be. She's not supposed to be like an abusive, like stand on your face top laner. That doesn't make sense. It's not how she was designed. That is ridiculous. Like, right? Like a late game champion that, like, you know what I mean? Like, she's just a scaling champion. She just gets better as the game goes, right? Her curve is just straight up. So when you make her a strong laner, then it's just a straight line. You know what I mean? Like, she just starts strong and she just wins. That's silly. She's still easy to gank top lane, but not as easy as mid, I feel like. I guess it kind of depends. But really, I think this champion is just always on the edge of being an issue. This is a 1v5 champion. I'm not a huge fan. I think it's just always pushing the boundaries of what's okay. And if it's not, then it's like 42% win rate. You know, it's like one of these. And that's like a whole archetype of champions. There's like a million like this. You know, like Azir is one of these in a way. Ryze is one of these. You know, Akshan is one of these. And it's like, I'm not a huge fan of that. But I think Cass has a lot of problems. Miasma's both cool and annoying. I think Miasma's like a good mechanic. I don't know if I like the way her Miasma is on her kit, but I think we need more abilities like that root, or not root, but ground people. I think her R is awful for the game, for both Cassiopeia players and for the other players, because how does it work? None of us know. Okay, sometimes it works right, sometimes it doesn't. It's been like this for years. It's really annoying. We should not have really weird ults like that in the game. I think in general, like mechanics to say, are you facing me or not, is kind of dumb. I would love to do away with Cassiopeia and the 2-shift poison and Trinimir's battle cry or whatever it is. I think they're all just kind of dumb. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think that's a good mechanic, but that's an opinion. And if you disagree, that's totally fair. But I think that's kind of a dumb thing. So that's my 2 cents on that. Let's see. Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath is pretty fair. So I want to put him up here. Yeah, let's put him here. So I think he has strengths, like very defined strengths and weaknesses. I think the only thing that ever bothers me about Cho'Gath that would stop him from being up here is the fact that his ult sometimes rides a line of being too much. Right? So, like, I think back to, like, Gargoyle Stoneplate meta, when he could, like, one-shot AD carries. I think that the champion has not significantly changed to say that that wouldn't be possible, right? They just changed the items around and said, here's a Band-Aid, you know? But, like, I think sometimes he just does too much damage with his ult. And it's a little bit of a concern for the game. But he's really high up in this tier list, so obviously I don't think it's that bad. I think Cho'Gath's a fair game. I think he's a really fair top laner. I think showing off like the difference between a bad Cho'Gath and a good Cho'Gath is still a huge difference. And I really like... I don't know, I just think he's really reasonable as a champion, right? His E being a silence is a little suspect sometimes. Like, just the fact that Cho'Gath can flash E in a team fight, I think people don't recognize how broken that is because there's not enough good players who play Cho'Gath, but it's really, really, really bullshit. And that's like one other thing that I think holds him back from being in the perfect tier. And I think Blitzcrank R is a little different. Just because of the nature of their kits, like the synergy between like his silence and his knockup, is the difference between like Blitzcrank flash ulting. Like he probably has to combine that with another teammate's action for that to be like broken, right? Or that's my intent, or that's my impression. So I think that's the difference here, and that's why I don't mind his silence as much as his. Even though his silence is on almost the same cooldown and it's an ultimate and does way more damage and is way bigger. But anyway, Corki. Corki. I don't like this champion. I don't like mixed champions at all. Like this, exactly. I don't mind if you build AD or AP, depending on the game. I think that's really interesting. I don't like champions that deal like half and half, because there's no real item you can build against that. Corki is also really obnoxious. He just clears waves, and I'm just not a fan. Like, his package, and I don't like anything with Corki, really. I kind of, like, really don't like him. He's not really fun to play either. Yeah, I'm gonna put him in problematic. I think he's right here. I think he needs a rework really badly. And I think it wouldn't be that hard to fix him. But I'm not a fan of any meta where Corki is playable, I'm gonna be honest. I think his package is obnoxious. I think it's unintuitive too for like what it is. Like he's not a diver. So like the fact that he has to like fly into the enemy team and like kill himself to be useful is weird, and it's just such a weird champion. And like half of this is for the player, but like half of it is for the other person playing against it. Like this champion's just annoying. Like I don't like playing against this. I don't like playing against the mid. It's obnoxious. It's not even necessarily like broken. I mean, it's always like playable, and it sees a lot of. I think it's a better and high elo kind of champion, but I don't know. I'm not that big of a fan. I'd like to see it get a rework. Darius, he's a bastard for sure. But I think I'll put him here. So he's kind of like Caitlyn, but for top lane, right? He just has this crazy lane phase where like he's going to get away with a bunch of dumb crap, and he's really strong. However, like just team fighting makes him scale down, right? You know what I mean? Like he can have 6 items, and the moment he's like in a 1v4, like that's automatically like he's so much worse. And people think he's like the team fighting champion because he's got his Q and his R, but excuse me, I argue he just wouldn't function without those abilities in a team fight at all. Like that's the problem. He's very easy to kite out. Ghost changes that a little bit. Like the Ghost changes helped him a lot, but he's not like I don't know. He's reasonable, but he's frustrating, and so I understand. Like I wouldn't put him up here. If you were less frustrating for people to play against, then he'd be up there. But just like getting like oppressed in lane is obnoxious, and I would prefer more lanes where back and forth. And he might just be a little bit too far in that direction. But there's so many other top laners like that now that I mean I wouldn't use it as a huge point against him. And he's super fun to play. He's super fun. Like his kit is almost perfect. Literally. It's so much fun to play Darius. So I think he's great. Diana. Diana. I want to put her here, I think. So her kit's undergone a lot of changes over time. I like her in the way that she's an assassin with a teamfight ult. And I like... What do I like about her? That's it. That's all. She has that niche. I'm not a huge fan of her whole attack speed thing going on. I'm not a huge fan of her getting resets on dashes. I mean, it's fine, right? Every champion has resets and dashes. But really what bothers me about this champion right now is the fact that she can build tank. It's fallen off a little bit recently. But, like, for, like, the last year, like, all you see is Diana building tank. And if she's a tank, can we retool her to be a tank instead of trying to make her an assassin, right? Giving her, like, assassin tools and then making her a tank is, like, it's just so weird and dumb. And I'm not a fan, to be honest. So, if they want her to be a tank so that she's more like Leo, and she's, like, an opposite to Leo, where, like, she, like... Well, I mean, she's not opposite to Leo. She's very similar to Leo in playstyle, to be honest. So they want to take it that direction. I think that's fine. But I don't really like playing in between, so I would take her off the line and send her either assassin, and we one-shot her and she one-shots us, or send her to tank, and she doesn't one-shot anyone, but she has more CC tools, you know what I mean, to hold people down. I think either one is fine. Excuse me. Draven. Let me take a drink, because this is a long video, and my voice is dying a little bit, not because I would ever have a problem for talking this long, but mostly because my dang cough, which is funny because until this moment today, I didn't really have any problems with coughing, but just speaking for too long did it to me, I guess. Anyway, let me get back on this. All right, Draven. Draven. Draven's cool because he's mechanical. I think his kit is cool. I think the way that he's so difficult to play but like so strong when you master him is very enticing to player like new players and I mean to everyone, right? I think that's good for the game. I think having champions like this is good for the game. I think having a champion that doesn't win lane, like being worthless, is not good though, right? And like my exhibit A to say like to prove my point, right? I think I'll put him. I think I put him here. Maybe here. Yeah. He's not more of a problem than Akali. You don't see him in pro play. And why is it you don't see Draven in pro play? Because Draven doesn't get kills in pro play. Not like he does in solo queue. Why is that a problem? Because his passive gives him gold when he gets kills, and that makes him snowball. And that's his whole kit is built around that. You need to get kills for this guy to work. He is like your perfect solo queue champion, right? That's the problem, though. It was very frustrating to play such a polar champion, right? You win lane, you dumpster the game. You lose lane, you get dumpstered. You're immobile as an AD carry, and if you lose lane, he's not very good at. I feel like he's not good at kiting. He's good at running at you. He's not good at kiting. He can't do like this Vayne nonsense and stuff like this, right? So you lose lane, this guy's just absolutely worthless. I'm not a fan. So I don't like polar champions like that, but I think his like gameplay and his champ design is fantastic. And I'm glad he's in the game because he's really cool. If you had a museum, right? If Riot had a museum, these are our best champion designs. I would put Draven in there for sure. He's really cool. But I think the truth is the truth. Dr. Mundo. Oh boy. I want to praise Mundo. Oh. Did I put Mundo here? Where I put Mundo? I think I put Mundo here. Above or below Bard? I really like Mundo for the game. I think design-wise, he's fantastic. Gameplay, he's fun. His kit's great. I think what my problem with Mundo is just how crazy this champ can be when he's good and how bad he can be when he's bad. And that's not really changed between like the rework and now. But I don't know. I can't quite put him in minor flaws because I really feel like he's a little problematic. And it might be because of the tank items. It might even not even be Mundo. It might be, the tank items that they put in the game that have made him this way. But he just feels a little bit like too polarizing. Like the same thing I said with Draven. But I will say he has like very defined strengths and weaknesses, right? Like this guy has no hard CC as a tank. Like that matters. That is a thing that they need to have. So what he gets in return is he gets a ton of damage and he's like nearly unkillable, right? That's the trade-off. And it's a cool trade-off, and I like that. And just the fact that he has very defined strengths and weaknesses makes me want to put him up here, but I think sometimes he's riding a line of not being okay. And so I think he might need a touch up, but generally Mundo I think is great. I think like one slight balance change. I'm not saying he needs to be nerfed. But what I am saying is I think maybe some numbers need to be moved around to make him a little bit more fair, and then he'd be up there. You know what I mean? Easily. Echo. Oh, man. I don't like Echo. This is another champion where it's old, but somehow I think they really messed up a long time ago, and they just haven't admitted it. And they're going to keep seeing this, Where do I put you, though? Up here? No, I don't think so. You're worse than Aurelion, I think. Are you worse than Corki? Maybe not. Maybe right here. Echo's Q in general is just suspect, I think. It's a really short cooldown, really low mana cost, clears waves instantly, clears jungle camps instantly. Two things. As a jungler and as a mid laner, he's really good at clearing waves and jungle camps, right? So, like if he goes mid, he can clear the wave really fast. Go run, take raptors, come back. It's a little bit of an issue sometimes. I think they brought it back a lot because Echo's been a problem in a lot of roles, largely because of his Q. I think Tank Echo, for example, existed because of his Q. Like he can shove a wave if he needs to, And if he doesn't, then he doesn't have to use his Q at all. But he has the option. He has really powerful wave clear that doesn't need AP for it to work. I think his R is my other problem. His E having 2 dashes is a little weird, but I mean, it's a design choice and that's fine. His R is just kind of... It's so good for diving, and I've always kind of felt like it's just a little bit too much. It's a short cooldown. It's not like it's a long cooldown, really. I mean, especially nowadays with Billy Hayes, it's so short. It feels like you ult him, he ults to escape your ult, and then you get your ult back up and his ult's back up, and we're back at square one. So I don't know. He can't ult through CC. That's good. And that's always been like a saving grace, but I don't know. I feel like Echo's just a little bit too much. They need to change something about him. I like his champ design. I like the feeling of playing him, but I think he's just a little bit problematic. And that's why he's right there in the problematic tier. Elise. I like Elise. There's a lot of skill expression here. I think she's good for the game. I think she's up here around Caitlyn. Like, she's kind of a Caitlyn champion to me. Darius, Caitlyn. Where she just has, like, really crazy tools. She has very defined strengths and weaknesses. She's not necessarily a good duelist. Which she kind of is, but she isn't, I guess. Like, when you, like, gap close on her, it's a little rough for her. But I guess it's what the spider form was for, so maybe I shouldn't put it that way. I don't know. I don't really think she's that good at dueling. Even though she has, like, the healing stuff on her autos. Like, she still loses to, like, a lot of, like, the real, like, mini junglers, if you know what I mean. Like, they get in your face and beat the crap out of you. She's really strong early. She doesn't do that much late. She's a big objective, right? Like, her repel makes her great for getting objectives or for contesting objectives. She is like the river fight champion. Her ganks are very straightforward. It's her cocoon. It's just, I don't know, I think she's fair. She's strong. She's really strong. But I think she's like a generally pretty fair champion with pretty fair tools. So, Eve. Oh boy. What do I do about you? This is a very polar champion too. Which makes me question if it should be down here. I have a slight bias because I play Eve a lot. And my 2 cents is Evelynn seems a lot stronger than she is. I think being on the other side, you realize people don't think about invisibility a lot, which is both frustrating for other players. So maybe I don't know. God, I mean, it's just the invisibility. Maybe I put her here because she has really big strengths, right? Like, her being invisible, her being able to do all this stuff. Her charm is really fair. Like, her charm is so difficult to pull off. I don't think it's unreasonable. Her ult is definitely, like, the power move on the kit. Like, that feels like the BS move, per se. But, like, her whole kit just revolves around you not thinking about where she is. I really think against good players, she doesn't work very well. This is the reason we don't really see her in pro play, right? And I just think it's because she's technically actually really fair. And she seems unfair because in solo queue, people just aren't thinking. They go on autopilot. And then this champion's insane because you don't see it. How you react to someone being right on top of you all of a sudden, you know what I mean? I think that's the problem with this champion. But I don't think that's a problem with, like, the game, necessarily. I think that's a problem with the league player base, if that makes sense. You could buy control wards, and this champion is so much harder to play. And you can invade her, and she can't do anything, right? She loses duels with, like, many of the junglers if she doesn't initiate them. Like, this whole champion, like, she feels so strong when she initiates a combat, but if someone else initiates on her, it's terrible for her, almost all the time. And that's just how this champion works. So I think it's fine. Ezreal. Ooh, I really like Ezreal. I wouldn't put him in perfect. Reason being is he really likes to float around and be kind of broken sometimes. But man, I'm going to put him at the top here because Ezreal, first of all, is such a fun champion that he carries his game on his own. If for Ezreal were not in the game tomorrow, I bet you thousands of players would quit the game. This champion is so fun to play. He's got such a cool and unique kit. Now that aside, I think just the fact that his Q applies on-hit effects is weird. And it's not bad. Like, that's what makes him so cool. But it also makes it so I think he just has too much of a connection to items, right? His items are good, he's good, and he's broken, and it doesn't feel like there's any counterplay, and like the most dog Ezreals can play the champion. Or like his items are bad, and then like you actually have to be like a pro player to play this champion, or else you're like inting your team. I'm not a huge fan of that. But that's really all. Like I think he's pretty fair. Like again, like he has all this DPS, and if you just dodge all of his Qs, he does nothing. He does nothing. What, like you know what I mean? Like it's so fair in that way. But like it's just so back and forth. There's so much input from both players when someone fights Ezreal, and I like that, right? So I think he's a great champion for the game. Fiddlesticks. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of hate this champion, but I have to be honest as well. I think he's good for the game. Control words, free control words is like suspect. So like he's either down here or up here for me. But a vision control champion is not bad, and so I want to put him up here. I think. Yeah, let's put him here. I think he's a great design for the game. Like, people enjoy this champion being in the game. They enjoy his design. They enjoy the general feel of him. I think he's cool. I think he's a great... He's not as funny as the old Fiddlesticks, and that's sad, but he's so much cooler than the old Fiddlesticks, and he fills that same niche so much better. I like it a lot. Also, his kit is built to get his ult off, so I'm glad they kept the ult, because that was old Fiddlesticks' real identity, right? The control words help you do what he needs to do. And that's why I think they're kind of reasonable. And it's a really strong feature, yes. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. But that's, like, his strengths, right? Is vision control. That's what this champion does, is he controls the map. For example, if he's losing and he has no vision control, and he is on wards all the time, and he can't do anything about it, he can't do his job. Straight up. He just can't. So, I think most of the frustration with Fiddlesticks in general, if there is that people just aren't playing well. And they're just falling for dumb crap. And they're just losing the game to it. And I don't think that means the champion's bad. I think people are just not thinking. You know, people are not playing this vision control game with him. Excuse me. If you let him have his way, of course he should win. So. Fiora. Ooh. Everyone aces champion. Where am I going to put her? I wonder. It's not going to be here. I'll tell you that much. I don't know if she's as bad as people say she is. I think she's ridiculous, though. I think she's, like, really, really strong and kind of problematic. I'm debating which of these to put her in, because I think she's interesting. Like, she's cool. Her mechanics are cool. I think she has a place in this game. I don't think she's down here. However, I want to say she might be problematic. She just... I don't know how to put it. She's just good. I would rather see Corki leave, so, you know, let's put her here. Fiora has a lot of really crazy tools that make her really, really good in this game, period. I mean, it's just that simple, right? Like, she's a great split pusher. She can pop people instantly, and not just AD carries, not just assassins, not just mages. She can pop tanks. She can pop bruisers because of her percent health. The utility she brings to a team is kind of insane. Playing against her in lane, she's a pretty oppressive champion, and it's really hard to punish a good Fiora. Like, a good Fiora feels like Darius. Now, that is to say, she has to get everything right as well. You know what I mean? She has to parry at the right time. She has to do all these different things. So, and I don't know. I don't think she's, like, here. I don't think she's harmful. And a lot of people disagree with me. A lot of top laners hate this. And this champion's insane. This is the most solo queue champion you'll see in pro play. It's so wild. But I think she's just riding a line, and she just needs some changes, maybe. I couldn't tell you exactly what those are, but I think she's fine for the game. We just need to make adjustments. You know, I wouldn't see her removed. Fizz. Oh, God. Fizz. This champion's so forgotten and lost to time by Riot. It's sad. I'm not going to put him here. It's close. I honestly do think it's close. But I have a few concerns about him. I want to put him here. Few things. Fizz is terrible at team fighting. That's good. Like, his strength is, he is insanely good at, like, one-shotting people, right? And the downside is, he's terrible at team fighting. He's terrible late game. He can't fight tanks. He can't fight bruisers. You have to one-shot them. And once he uses ult, he can't, like, if he ults AD carry, for example, he can't turn around and fight a bruiser. Unless he's, like, 13-0 or something, right? This champion just is very straightforward. It's really good at, like, one thing. And even then, like, his whole combo is very avoidable, right? You have, like, Zanyas or, like, Banshees, or you dodge his ult, and he can't kill you. I always have felt like he's very reasonable, right? Like, you have to outplay your opponent consistently to get fed, and then you go and you push that lead other places. And he doesn't have insane wave clear. He has, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so hard to keep up with your opponent in CS, especially when you're roaming. This guy is very reasonable. The problems, I would say, maybe, he's, like, literally lost and forgotten the time. Like, Riot does not care about him, does not support him, does not help him perform in the game. They never help this guy out. They never buff him. And B, Playful Trickster is undeniably really frustrating to play against. I completely understand why people feel that way. I'm not going to deny that as an argument. I think you should get good, but I understand why you feel that way. So I think it's fair to put him here. Galio. Are you a problem? I think this champion's really good for the game and bad in other ways. But I think he's fair. I think he's pretty fair. What do I think Galio should be? I think he should be a tank. I don't really like the idea of full AP Galio. It's not terrible. Like, if it's in a balanced state, it's fine. It was not fair when it came out. He was still tanky, and he one-shot people. That was not okay. They have worked him to a point where AP Galio is now, like, a Bonobo build, and you have to one-shot them, or you get one-shot. And now it's fine. Even though I don't think he one-shots people anymore. But I think Galio is good for the game. I don't love the idea of him going mid, but it's not awful. Like he's a much more reasonable counter pick than Kassadin, for example, where, like, Kassadin is he's so much more BS. Galio is a team player who's just really hard to kill. That's his identity, right? You pick him into an AP champ mid, generally they won't be able to kill you. You respond to skirmishes on the map faster because you have an R, and you have good wave clear. You have great utility. You're good at team fighting. You can peel. You don't deal that much damage. That's okay. Yeah, no, actually, the more I think about it, I think Galio is just really reasonable. I think he's pretty fair. I think he's a good addition to the game. Fantastic. Thank you, Riot. Good champion. Not going to put him in perfect. Sorry. Gangplank. Whoo, fuck this guy. Gangplank, first of all, is a mechanical champion that doesn't take mechanics to play. You could be awful at this guy and still get away with a lot. His lane phase, I don't know why he has so many tools in lane that make him a bully when he's supposed to be a late game champion. He's supposed to scale. He's not supposed to be a lane bully, but then he easily can be. I love to see, for example, Renekton just land on his face. But there are matchups where it doesn't feel like he's a late game champion, where it feels like he's like a Teemo. I just don't like this guy. I'm gonna be honest. I think he scales too quickly. He really doesn't need many items to be useful. His R is insane. It's really, 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 really good. You're definitely not more of a problem than Fiora, I don't think. Here is probably fine. But this guy's just kind of BS. I think that's just generally my issue with him. I'm not a fan of how he works or how he... Basically, when he's strong, he's just way too much. And when he's weak, you don't see him. You know what I mean? But, like, he's so often strong, too. Like, Riot really likes Gangplank for some reason. And he's just way over the edge all the time. He's, like, way too strong all the time. I don't understand. And especially with runes, like, he's obnoxious with Grasp the Undying. He's obnoxious with First Strike. He was obnoxious with Kleptomancy. Oh my god, Kleptomancy. Jesus Christ. Thank God it's gone. This guy is just a problem. And he's never going to stop being a problem until they change something about him, I think. But to go back for a moment, I will say his core gameplay is fun. I don't hate him as a champion like that. But I just think he's too much of a problem too often. And so I put him here. Garen. Garen's good. I think the biggest problem with Garen is that he is too simple, and that makes him just, he can't be good. Right? If you play Garen and you beat someone, you are just better than them. I don't think Garen wins matchups. Like, I feel like he's all 50-50 matchups or losing matchups. You know? I don't feel like he destroys many champions that don't have the same problem he does, where he's just kind of underpowered. And yeah, I don't know. He has some really crazy tools. Like, his Q is a really good tool. His W is a really good tool. All of his abilities are good, actually. He has a Warmogs, for God's sake. And his R is insane. And he's bad. He's just awful. Not awful, but not good. So, I mean, if you wanted to be in your perfect design... Apologies, I'm sorry. I think he just needs to be modernized. He needs, like, one more tool. Something that makes him more viable, you know? And that's all. And that's all he needs. And if he can get that, then he's there. And then he's good. And we're good to go. But he's not there right now. He is not Gucci. He needs help, so this is where we are. Gnar. I like Gnar. I like Gnar. I like Gnar. Gnar is just kind of like Darius in some ways. I think he's better than Darius, though. Probably better than Camille. Caitlyn? I really like Caitlyn. Let's put him here. Gnar's kit is great. I like Gnar's kit from the game. There's a lot of skill expression. Almost everything he has is a skill shot. He was a great pro play champion, and I think any great pro play champion is a great champion, to be honest. Right? He's a team champion. He wants to do team fights. My only concern with Gnar is he's a ranged top laner. Ranged top laner is kind of annoying. I think it's a really valid complaint. I think like melee top is just really fun, and playing against ranged top laners is kind of lame. But he's not very offensive compared to some other ones. And I really like what he does for the game. So, I would say minor flaws. I think the only thing that keeps him from being perfect is the fact that he's a ranged top laner. I like him a lot. But, yeah. I don't know. That's where I am on that. And I don't mean to hate on ranged top laners too much. I play ranged top too. It's just, it's so annoying for the other player. It's hard to say that any of them are perfect. But he's close. Honestly, he should be higher, I think. Yeah. Let's put him there. Okay. Gragas. I don't like Gragas. I do and I don't. I feel like he's one of the classic bullshit champions. I don't think he's problematic, though. I kind of want to put him somewhere around here. Which actually... I don't think about it. This definitely belongs... yeah, I'll do that. Gragas is not as bad as Aatrox, for sure. Is Gragas worse than Diana? Nah. This guy's cool. He is unique. Here are my problems. His E-Flash... I think it's E. I feel like his E-Flash window is so big. It's so forgiving. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, you E, and then wait a second, and Flash, and it still knocks them up. Kind of ridiculous. His R is also kind of wildly bull. But those are, like that and the damage reduction is all the bull he has, and he's not, like, that unreasonable. I just kind of feel like if they, like, reel back the bull a little bit on him, he'd be fine. And really, he's not unbalanced. I'm not the biggest fan of this guy. I kind of wish, again, like, he went more one way or the other. Like, if I expected him to be a bursty dude or a tanky dude, that'd be cool. I don't really like riding the line that much. I think he rides the line, like, too much. Or it gets, maybe it's like the best of both worlds type of thing, right? Is what I mean. It's like he gets both. And I don't really like champions do both. That's why he's next to Diana, I guess. Because I guess they're the exact same problem for me. But yeah. It's funny because bruisers have the exact same problem. I just haven't talked about many bruisers yet, so I mean, but Aatrox's right next to them. So, you know what? Yeah, no, perfect, Akali, too. Akali's basically a bruiser. I don't even know if she's assassin, man. I'm gonna be honest. She feels more like a bruiser sometimes, so. Graves. Okay, well, this is an easy, down here somewhere. I feel like he's very similar to Gangplank. Is he worse? No, he's definitely more fair than... is he? No, he's not. I think I'm going to go that. My problem with Graves, again, it's like another champion where if his items are good, he will be broken. He'll be 54% win rate. He'll be pick or pan every game. And if not, then he never sees play. I don't like Graves for that reason. He's just not a very healthy champion for the game. He needs to derive more of his strength in the game from his own kit and less from his items are broken, and he has access to so many items. That's the other problem. That's why he can be so strong, right? If Shield Bow is strong this patch, he might see play with Shield Bow, and tomorrow will be Eclipse, and the next day it will be Kraken, and the next, you know what I mean? No matter what, he's going to be able to build it. And that's kind of my problem. He can go Sunfire Cape, for example. You know what I mean? He used to go ridiculous things. Excuse me. And I feel like he's just generally always riding a line of just being a problem. Gwen, really, really powerful champion. Also kind of BS, but I kind of feel like it's kind of fair. It's really close. She's another Mundo one where I'm really huh. Because I feel like if I say that it's minor, my problems with her are minor, then Mundo belongs up there. I think she and Mundo are very similar. In the fact that she has, some major BS and then has, weaknesses, you know what I mean? Should I? No, I'll leave them down here. I think... Nah, I think she's fine right there. She has a really powerful kit. She's really fun to play. She's, fairly fair to play against. I think a lot of people find frustration in this champion just because they don't understand it. And part of it, too, she's had a low win rate for a very long time. So we don't really... I feel like we almost don't know what good win looks like because... I feel like since she's come out, she's just been sitting at 47-48% win rate. I might have missed the patch if she was good, but I don't remember her being really broken. But her kit's ridiculous. Her kit's really, 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 really strong. I think, in particular, her R and her W. So that is her spell immune. The W is her spell immune field that she can move once. And then her R, where she shoots needles. I think this is right. I'm going to stay with this. I'm really tempted to move him and her up to minor, but... Hecarim? Oh, God. He's just got to be problematic. I like this champion. I do. But... worse than Gangplank? I think so. Right? Yeah. Worse than Fiora? Nah. So with Hecarim, he's just too good at what League of Legends wants him to do. You know what I mean? He's great at dealing AoE damage. He has tons of movement speed on his kit, so he can get where he needs to go. He has a point-and-click CC, in addition to almost another point-and-click CC, which is R. It might as well be point-and-click. You basically can't miss it unless they flash or something, right? He's just really strong. He's cool. I like him. He just feels kind of BS. And when he's meta, there's nothing you can do. When he ganks you, he's going to get a sum or you're going to die. It's just going to happen. And there's no two ways about it. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of fairness to it. The only thing you can do is get behind him, but he's so fast, he can go around and get behind you again. And just all the movement speed he gets off of his kit and off the items he builds, and he just goes around the map so fast. He ganks bot lane, and you think, okay, I could do what I need to top, and the next thing you know, he's top already. It's ridiculous. It's just, he just is a little too good at jungling as a champion. And right now, I think he's out of meta, but anytime he receives a buff, dude, he will be in the top 10 junglers for 6, 7, 8 months, dude. It's insane. So I think in general, he might need a little bit of a touch. I don't know what that is exactly. Maybe his E. I think if his E changed, he might be fine. Like his E might just be the problem. But otherwise, I really like this champion, and so I would never put him in harmful. But Heimer, oh, I hate Heimerdinger. I have so few nice things to say about this guy. This is the most annoying champion maybe in the entire game. Like, it's annoying as hell. Is he problematic or harmful is the question. He's able to be played in every role except for jungle. Yet. He hasn't been able to be played in jungle yet. And I think that's because he's just never going to be good at ganking, to be honest. Even if he had a good jungle clear, his ganks would be terrible. But he can play every role. And he's seen a patch where he was broken in a role. He is always a problem. He's uninteractive, unfun to play with. I just, honestly, I want to put him in harmful, which is crazy because he's going to be the oldest champion to be in harmful. But I don't know how to fix this guy. Like, he just, like, there's a difference between him and Cass, right? And then, like, let me, like, differentiate this a little bit. Cassiopeia just needs to find, like, the niche that she's supposed to fulfill, and she shouldn't just be a general pick, right? Like, she should be a counter pick, I think, is what she needs to be in general. She should lose a lot of matchups, but she should win certain matchups, and you counter pick when you have those matchups, right? Heimer is like, you can blind pick this into anything. It's so annoying. He just perma shoves into almost any champion. I don't know. It's so annoying. It's so hard to gank him. That's another thing. Like, it's so obnoxious to gank this champion, and I don't think that's a good feature, right? Like, being safe, like being able to dash away is one thing, but like literally dying for ganking a champion is a little obnoxious. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like Heimer. I don't like him. I don't know how to put everything into words exactly, but I truly believe this guy's just bad for the game. And I don't think he does anything good for the game. And I think it's 100% connected to his turrets. To be clear, I think his other abilities are absolutely fine. And if his turret were just on R, that would also be totally fine. I think his turrets are... Okay, no, I made my own point. He's right here. Because if they fix his W, he's fine. That's it. His W is the issue. And they can change this and make it... They keep his identity without, like... They can keep his identity and make him not a problem. So he's problematic. Not harmful. You heard it here first, folks. Illaoi. Illaoi's really fair. Like, her flaw is that she's too fair, right? So I want to put her, like, next to Garen. Because I feel like they have a similar issue. Where, like, once you know what the champion does, I don't think she can be broken. Even if they're, like, significantly better than you, you can just, like, play the matchup right, and it's really hard for them to do a lot to you. I really don't think Illaoi is broken at all. I think that's a good thing, though. Like, I don't think characters should be broken all the time, like, right? Like why can't they be fair? It's great. I love seeing a champion and thinking, wow, if I play right, I should be able to win. Isn't that how the game should be? Like, why should I be stuck playing his auction? I'm like, I might think I'm playing right. Like, you know what I mean? But it might not matter. Like, I don't know. I think Illaoi's very fair. Very reasonable. Aurelia. Oh, God. I like this champion a lot. I like the design. I like the kit. I'm afraid that, like, being good at Aurelia is a problem. like it's like Azir. I think it's actually a perfect, like, Azir. It might belong with Azir. But is that really more of a problem than Draven? Probably. Akali? Probably. Gragas? No. Two things. I think Aurelia should be forced to go top. I don't think she has any place in mid lane. I think Aurelia is, like, ridiculous in mid. She is, like reasonably gankable in mid lane, which is what makes her fair. But, like, most mid laners can't kill her, and it's obnoxious. Especially mages. Mages just can't kill this champion. Like, it's ridiculous. And so she takes like TP and corrupting pot, right? Like she just, you're not gonna be able to force her out. She's gonna out CS you. It's ridiculous. Top lane she's fine because she's a scaling, like man mode fight champion, right? But she loses early. Like she can't fight Renekton. Renekton just beats her down. That's the thing. Is like I don't like late game champions getting free lanes. If you want to say I'm gonna wreck you guys at 25 minutes, right? You should have a hard time in lane phase. Unless you're against a Bonobo, in which case, you know, I'll power to you. Win. I like that. But Aurelia's just a little... She has so much potential because, like, of her kit that it scares me sometimes. You see these Korean players play Aurelia and you're like, maybe the champion's not balanced. I don't know. But, I don't know. I want to put her here. I think she just needs adjustments. I think she's fine. But, Ivern. Ivern, more fair or less fair than any? Below. Because I feel like the Enchantress playstyle is obnoxious, and it does affect other people and like how they enjoy the game. However, he's fun. He's cool. He's good at what he does. Again, the thing that stops these two from being up here, I think it's like almost literally exactly their R AI. Like Daisy's so stupid, it's annoying. I guess this guy counter jungling is also like really cheese, which is another thing that keeps him below, which I guess is actually fair justification why he's below Annie. But he's pretty fair for the most part. I think he's a good champion. His bushes are kind of obnoxious, but I mean, it's a unique mechanic. I don't think it breaks him at all. I think he's great. I think he's a great addition to the game. And I'm glad he's here. Janna. Oh. Janna's really fair, but really annoying. Right? Like, I'm gonna say here. Like, she's not broken. She's not in your face. She's not ridiculous, right? It's really like you get punished because you like play too aggressively in this champion. Like, she can't run down like your home and like hurt you. I mean, she kind of can, but not really. I think the frustration with Janna in general is just like, God, this champion's so safe. God, it's so hard to kill her and her teammates. But I mean, that's what a sport's supposed to do, right? I don't think she's like unreasonable. I think her mechanics are fine. There are other enchanters that are much more lame and much more BS and much less impressive to play. And we'll get there later. So I think Janna belongs pretty high up. Excuse me, Jarvan. Oh god. I like Jarvan and I hate Jarvan. Because Jarvan's been around so long and he's always good. And he always does so much fucking damage. Jesus Christ. He's really fair though. I want to put him here. I think he's just a really fair champion. Really straightforward. Does one thing all the time. I like him. Sometimes he's overtuned. And that's why you might not like him as much. But I think in general, like him, he's fair. He's just reasonable. Yeah, honestly, now I'm thinking about it, maybe he should be higher. If anything, he's a little boring. But I think he's good for the game. So I'm going to put him there. Jax. Minion hopping is BS. Harmful. You know. No. He's a scaling man fighter. He's kind of like Irelia. In some ways. He has like bullshit kind of like Irelia where he can dash around and do stuff and it's a super short cooldown. But he can dash to allies and enemies, which is obnoxious. Is he a problem? Is he bad? Is he an issue? I wonder. His dodge is kind of annoying, but it's not unfair. His R is kind of obnoxious, but not unfair. His Q is the only thing I would really have an issue with. So, you know, honestly, I think he's got to be either here or here. Is he ever as much of a problem as Mundo? I don't think so. I think Jax is pretty reasonable. I'm gonna be honest. I think Jax kind of reasonable. As reasonable as Garen and Olawi? No. But, you know, there, I'd say. Jace? Oh god, Jace. I might not like Jace. He's cool in pro play. He's kind of bull. So you're taking a top laner, right? That's going to suck in team fights for the most part. But he gets, like, early prio, right? He can shove top. He can do all these things. He's really good at diving, poking out people. I don't really think he sees play a bin anymore. Do I like this guy? Do I like Jace? Yeah, I think he's fine. He's a little bit questionable. Like, I think sometimes he does a little bit too much damage. He's a little too cheesy. I think I like Mundo more. I think I like Gwen more. I think Irelia is more problematic than he is. So it was Kali. Here? Yeah, I think it's fine. Yeah, he's riding a line for sure. But I don't think he's, like, offensive. I like the way he's really strong in lane, and then he falls off. Because, I mean, what does he really do in a team fight, right? And, like, he's so clunky in the mid game, in the late game. So, I think he's fairly reasonable. He's got a lot of utility on his kit. Yeah, I think he's fine. I think he's right there. So, no. Because I'm talking about him like he has a place in the game. Like he's really reasonable, right? What's the problem with Jace for me? Is he too strong top? I don't think so. Oh god, is he going here? Huh. Huh. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna change it now. I've convinced myself that, I think this is where I'm at. Yeah, let's go with that. Jhin. Ooh. I like Jhin. He's kind of dumb. Like, his movements being on crits is kind of stupid. He's good all the time. But I think he's an Ezreal kind of AD carry. He's very easy to kill once you get on top of him, too. He's very fair in that way. His R makes him really good at team fighting. Like, he doesn't have to get in. He might be one of the best, like, long-range... Like, I will get frustrated with this guy in a game, but I'm going to be honest, here and now, thinking, like, as clearly as I think I can, I think Jhin is a really good design. Like, not just, like, oh, he's fun to play, but, like, genuinely, most of the time, he's pretty fair. And there are plenty of answers to him in the game. I think I'm going to rate him there. Which is like kind of wild, and I think a lot of people disagree, but I think I'm going to stick to my guns here. Jinx. This champion is boring. I don't like it. So, it doesn't have a bad design, per se. But, man, you just sit there, and you farm, and you, like, kind of hope to, like, steal kills from people. And sometimes you'll get kills, but she's, like, a weak laner, so... But she's late game. Her ult's fun. Her E is interesting. Her W... I just feel like she's really fallen off. Like, she needs a little bit of attention. Because in the past years, she hasn't felt as good. But she's not, like, a terrible champion for the game. I think she's, like, fine. She's fairly balanced. I wouldn't put her higher up in this tier. I think she's probably, like, the bottom of this tier. But she's not a problem. Like, she's fair. You know exactly what she's capable of until she's 10-0. And then, like, why'd you do that? Kai'Sa is like Jinx, if all those things weren't true. So where does she belong? Kai'Sa's kind of bull. But is Kai'Sa a bad champion? Oh god. I don't think so. I think Kai'Sa is somewhere... So what does Kai'Sa have? She's a late game scaling 80 carry that can build almost any item. That's kind of a problem, but I don't know. It's kind of fun too. People get to theorycraft, people get to build different builds and go AP Kai'Sa, AD Kai'Sa, on-hit Kai'Sa. That's cool. That's good for the player base. It's good for the game to have diversity. She has an R, which is kind of dumb and kind of bull, but it's cool, and it's an R, so it's fair, right? It's an ultimate, has a long cooldown. She clears waves really well. She has stealth, but it's short and she can't auto during it. I feel like she's kind of reasonable. I don't know. I know people aren't going to like that, but she kind of just feels like the new Jinx. I'm not going to lie. Like, I think she's fine. Am I wrong to say that? Am I crazy? Yeah, I'm going to say I think she's fine. Kalista. Ha 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 ha. Get rid of it. No. Are you problematic? Yes. Yes, you are. Yes. 100%. There's a reason this champion can't be good. It's a problem, right? All the time. Are you worse than Graves? I think you might be. This champion is built for bot lane, and it's ridiculous. Her dash in between every auto attack has gotten worse over time, but it's still an insane mechanic. Like, absolutely insane. Her strength in the early game in lane is insane. Her ult is insane. Like, insane. And even better, like, the more coordinated your team is. This champion only gets better the better your teammates are. This is why it's a pro play champion. It doesn't feel good to play anymore because it's been nerfed into oblivion, and it's so hard to play. But, like, well, think about, like, Worlds last year. Like, they picked it a ton, right? So, I feel like Kalista's, like, really solid. I'm going to say it's problematic. I just think this champion's always on the verge of breaking the game, and they can never buff her again. Because when she came out, she was so strong, and it's just such a long way down. They had to nerf her so much and nerf her into the absolute ground until this champion had, like, the lowest play rate in the game, you know? And, like, a 40% win rate, you know? Karma. Ugh, Karma's so gross. I hate Karma players so much. Somewhere here. I want to say serious flaws. Just because I think Karma's so frustrating to play against. It's so BS. And, like, oh, man. She does another. She's one where she has too much of that support utility. Above Bard? I think so. No. I'm sorry. She's way more problematic than Bard. Yeah. So, like, she's cool, but she just needs to either be an enchanter or she needs to be a mage. And they gotta choose, man. They gotta choose. Her R shield is so stupid. That ability is so good. She gets her R level 1. It has a really short cooldown. It's like 40 seconds level 1, which is not bad. And it goes down a lot more. Obviously, all her R does is empower another one of her abilities, but they're really good. Like, her RQ is good. Her RW is good. Her RE is good. She's just a solid champion. She's not, like, totally BS, right? She's not, like, offensive. I wouldn't put her anywhere near, like, you know, these guys. These are disgusting. But she is kind of BS. Like, she's just a little bit too good at too many different things. I will tell you one thing. There's nothing I hate more than watching Worlds and seeing them put Faker on freaking Karma. Oh, no. No. It's a support. Don't put it mid, please. Don't make my millionaires play lame enchanters. Let them play something cool. At least Galio. Don't make Faker play Karma. Okay, well, I'm done with that. Karthus, fuck this champion. I'm not even kidding this time. Where do I put you? All they have to do... Right here. All they have to do is change his R, and he's fine. All they have to do. His R is bold. There's nothing okay about dealing that much magic damage to everyone at once with no counterplay. Yes, you can buy Sonya's Hourglass. Yes, you can buy Stopwatch. Are you telling me that there's fair to have a champion in the game that forces you to buy a 750 gold item for that? Really? And Mordekaiser is not the same. This is way worse than Mordekaiser. This is completely different. Alright? Everyone on the map has to have that. You can't fight. You can't ever be below this amount of health or you die to Karthus. That is ridiculous. First Drake in his ultimate is ridiculous. Dark Harvest in his ultimate is ridiculous. No. This ult is stupid. His kit, very skill expressive. Very cool. I like it a lot. He does a lot of damage. Good players get a lot of mileage out of him. I love that. I love how skill expressive he is. His ult is dumb. Get rid of it. Alright. Kassadin. I hate you. Kassadin's disgusting. I'm so sorry. I'm so sick. I'm getting so sick from talking so much. Cassidy is just way too good, like at what he does. He gets to the late game and he is so bull. He puts Kale to shame. I will say. I do not like this champion. He is a problem. He is very similar to Cassiopeia, in fact, but I think a little bit more BS because blinks are dumb. What I want Cassidy to do, I want them to do about Cassidy is I want them to even him out. So it's fine if he's a scaling assassin, but he needs to have a slightly better lane, slightly less broken late game. Honestly, I would love they just change his Dar to something else. Or just not Flash. That does 1,000 magic damage every time he does it. And we're good. Katarina. I don't think this champion's broken. I think it rides the line, though, a lot. Because when one item gets too good on her, like, they don't know how to predict how items will affect her, right? Like, I think about, like, Divine Thunder or Blade of the Rune King. Like, they had no idea that was going to happen. And all of a sudden, she's broken. Does that make her a problem? Or is she just a serious flaw? I think she's around Brand. I think she's a little bit more problematic than Brand. So, generally, she's a pretty fair champion. It's a little frustrating, I will say. And this is my frustration with this champion. It's the classic, like, they lose lane, they go bot lane, get kills, whatever. It's just like Master Yi, though. It's just like this champion relies on the worst player of your team. And if there are no bad players on your team, then it is what it is. And it's like a solo queue champ, so it's fine. It has a place in the game. I think she's riding a line of being a little bit too strong for being a solo queue champion, though. Like, sometimes she's too good. And it's a lot to do with the itemization, I think. And she can build anything. That's the other problem. Again, it's like any champion that can build anything is just going to be a problem more often than not. And it's not. I guess it's really not her. It's the items. But I don't know. She's pretty fair. Does she belong higher? She has a blink, which is kind of dumb. But again, like, blinks aren't a deal breaker. Like, we have Ezreal at the top. She might belong higher than this, though. Because she's just a pub stomp for champion. She belong up here? I mean, I'm okay with Kai'Sa. She has the exact same problems, but she's not exactly the same kind of champion, right? But, like, is she worse than Azir? I don't think so. Is she worse than Karma? No. Poor Bard. Maybe I went too hard on Bard, too. I don't think Bard deserves to be down there. I think the reasons I set forth that say Bard is a serious issue with the game are just wrong. Like, they're not wrong. Like, they exist, but I don't think it makes him a serious issue in the game. I think he's a good champ design. I think he's fine. I think I went too hard on him. I think Bard goes here. Yeah. Yeah. I like this. Yeah. Okay. That's how I feel. Katarina's fine. I think they need to be really careful with how they change her with items. I think that's them being mindless with items. And giving her crazy buffs for no reason. When she just has a role and she does her thing and that's it. And she's just never going to be seen in pro play. They need to stop. You know, certain champions shouldn't see play in pro play. Garen should not see pro play. That is not good. Something went wrong if Garen is in pro play. Let's just be clear about that. It's not that I hate Garen. It's that Garen Yuumi is not okay. And it takes something like that for Garen to be good in pro play. It just is what it is, you know? Anyway, moving on. Kale. I am not a fan of Kale. I am not a fan of Kale at all. I'm not a fan of a champion that goes top. Plays like this. I mean, she does get punished in lane, right? She's easy to dive. She's easy to kill. All of that's true. Her late game's ridiculous. She's not casted in level, even close. She's way more reasonable than casted. Still really annoying. Would I put her down here, though? Like, she's definitely punishable in lane. She definitely has to get through a very long and grueling lane phase. So I think she's fair. But I think, like, I'm not a big fan of her R. I'm not a big fan of her playstyle in the game in general. I would rather they gear top laners to be... No, I'm sorry, not top laners, but gear late game champions to be better at playing with the team instead of just, like, sitting in the tower farming and saying, like, good luck, guys, we have to make it to level 16. I'm not a fan of that. So here, I think is fine. Yeah, this is fine. Kayn. Oh boy. This guy's ridiculous. First of all, this is the most like mid-game champ of all time. He gets this form, right? At some point during the game. And as soon as he gets that form, he gets like this giga power spike, and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And they have such a hard time balancing him. I'm not a huge fan of this guy. I don't think I would put him here, but I wouldn't put him higher than this. He's useless early game. Almost completely useless. And then he gets that power spike, and it's just like, what the hell is this champion? Ross is ridiculous too. I think Shadow Assassin's more cheesy than anything, but Ross is stupid. Ross is genuinely stupid. And actually thinking about like Ross Ultimate is so dumb. It's so dumb to get a full heal. You have to kill this guy twice. Oh my god, it's dumb. I think it's easily, yeah, it's worse than Kale. Because at least Kale gets this dumb BS by making it a level 16. This guy just has to get form. Which, by the way, if he goes top and gets 2 kills when you're in the game, okay, well, there we are. He's there. It's mid-game for him, though. Yeah, that's right. You know, you're level 6. You have, you know, a quarter of an item finished. No. This man does not care. Whatever. You know, F that. Kennen. Fair, but annoying. Like, ranged top laner, annoying, but not, like, terrible. He has energy, which is kind of annoying. He does a lot of damage. He has a lot of movement speed. I don't think he's, like, a mainstay staple of the game. Like, I don't really like this champion that much. And I don't really think it's a good thing when he's meta. But he's not, like, super harmful. Are you around, like, Irelia levels, maybe? Akali? Are you worse than Akali? Maybe. Draven? I think he's pretty close to Draven in BS levels. Are you more BS or less BS than Draven? If anything, I feel like Draven is the feast or famine thing that bothers me, though. Oh, God. Poor Azir being next to Kennen. I don't know if I like that. That's just insulting. Yeah, I want to put him there. I don't really like Kennen for the game for a lot of reasons. I think, like, his W is kind of BS, his E is kind of BS, his R is kind of BS. Like, his whole kit is pretty kind of BS. And he's a ranged top laner. All that together, he is just really annoying. I would love it if they reworked him into, like, a mid laner. Like, maybe, like, some kind of, like, diver assassin. Which is kind of what he is right now, but it's, like, he has, like, a really weird identity. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, he is a diver assassin, right? That is what he is right now. It's just, it's weird how much AoE he has, so he's like a team fighter. I don't know how I feel about it. Like, he's like a really squishy Diana. Yeah, I think right here is fine. I'm not a fan of him. I feel like he needs a full rework. I don't like any part of his kit, and I would love if it all changed. And, yeah, except for his E. His E's cool. If they can change the rest of the kit, I'm fine with his E. Kha'Zix is bullcrap. Is he serious flaws or is he problematic? I think he is a lot like Kayn in that, like, he's a dummy head. He kind of dumb. He kind of stupid. He's better than Kale because he's way more practical. I mean, he gets online way before these guys. Which actually, oh, I'm sorry. He's better than Kale, right? That would make him down here. Yeah, I think, well, he's a lot like Kayn, right? He's a lot like Kayn, where if he gets that lead early, he's really strong, and if he doesn't, he's kind of worthless. Again, I don't really like champions that, like, say, like, in Champ Select, like, if I don't win, we're losing together. Like, that's annoying, right? I don't really like that design. But bananas, he gross. Like, oh my god. Like, the E reset and Evolve spikes is stupid. R is just dumb. Evolved or not. Q is insane. Isolation damage is a cool mechanic. I like it, and that's why I think he has a place in the game, because he's unique. But he has a lot of BS tools. And in general, I think they should give him, like, they should roll back the BS a little bit and give him more utility, and I think he'd be a great champion for the game. And that's my 2 cents on Kha'Zix. Kindred. I think Kindred's a problem. Problematic or serious flaws is the question. I don't like this champion. Her whole thing is, like, her ult's just frustrating to play with for both teams. I don't think I like it very much. But it is interesting. I think I just have a different opinion from other people. I just don't think that, like, anti-dying fields in video games are a good thing. So I feel like she's going to go in with, like, the jungle misfits here. I don't think she's, like, problematic. Like, I don't think she's an issue. And she's definitely so mid, you know? Like, is she... She's less toxic than Kayle. Less toxic than Brand. Yeah, less toxic than Aatrox and Diana and Gragas. She's less toxic than Irelia, probably. She's better than Kennen for sure. Why is Kennen so high? Kennen does not belong this high. Kennen belongs so much lower. Kennen belongs in the fucking depths. Yeah. Yeah, this is fine. Kindred's got a cool design. The kit's fun. Her marks are kind of dumb. Like, I don't like them as a mechanic in the game for multiple reasons. It makes the whole game just so much more annoying. Everyone's fighting over stupid marks, like stupid little mini objectives. I don't think we need many objectives in the game, alright? We have dragons, we have Baron, we have Rift Herald. They're all broken, they do plenty, we don't need more. We don't need Skarner Pillars, we don't need Kindred Marks. I'm sorry, it is annoying. I don't like adding more like features to the gameplay, or else, oh, she scales really fast. It's just annoying. I don't like her R. I don't like how it can get both teams killed. It's like kind of like what I talked about with Bard. It's good when a good player uses it, yes. It's really bad when a bad player uses it. So, I mean, that's where I'm at on that. But yeah. Kled. I really, really like Kled. God, I can't not do it, man. I can't not do it, man. Kled is so reasonable. You know what, actually? Ahri is not top in this tier. But, is that how I feel? Braum? Yeah. Kled is so much fun. His vibe, his champion is so good. I don't even play Kled because I'm not good at Kled. But oh my god, Kled is just an immaculate art piece done by God himself. I don't know what to say, man. This champion is amazing. And I think he's really fair. And like, a lot of people lose this guy because they just don't understand how he works. And if anything, he's really fair. I think he's like maybe too fair sometimes, and the only time he's overtuned is when his numbers are just too high or an item's broken, you know? So, I don't know. I really like Kled. I think he's super solid. Kog'Maw. I hate Kog'Maw. I hate Kog'Maw a lot. Better than Kayle, I think. Kennen. Brand. And Aatrox. And Diana. And Gragas. Maybe right here. I don't want them to make AP Cog good. It's really obnoxious. I really want them to stop buffing that. It's obnoxious. Just please, God, don't add it again. He's another late game scaling AD carry where he's like, fuck you. I'm gonna sit here and farm until X time. He's kind of like, he's not as bad as Kayle. But it is a little annoying. And he gets really degenerate with certain combinations, right? Like the classic Kog'Maw Lulu. I'm not a fan. So I just generally wouldn't put him up here. I don't think he's like perfectly in the middle where like he has a lot of problems. And I'm not like the biggest fan of this guy. But he's A, he's easily fixable, and B, he's kind of fair. Like, you just blast this guy and he dies. What can you do? You know, and his kit is really outdated. So a lot of his tools are like, he doesn't have many tools. He has like really like 2 or 3 good tools, and that's it. So I think this is a fair spot. Does he really belong below Irelia? It's fine. LeBlanc. I do not like this champion. I'll be honest with you. I do not like this champion. There is an interesting balance here. I like you better than Aurelion? Right now, yes. I think. Yes. Here's the problem with LeBlanc. For me, she is a lane bully. She is really oppressive and really, really safe. So on top of being super super oppressive in lane, she really can't get ganked because like her when she goes in and trades with you, she's automatically giving herself a way out already. She's so simple, it's hard to mess up, but her kit has so much potential to outplay, which is immaculate and awful at the same time. You know what I mean? So this champion hasn't been good in a long time, and some people might not agree with me, but I think LeBlanc is like really cheesy and unfun to play with. All of that said, she does fall off later a lot because she has like difficulty CSing. But if you watch a player like Faker play LeBlanc, it's a little different. So I think she is strong. Is she problematic? She might not be problematic. I think she just needs a rework, though. I think she just needs a rework. And so I'm going to leave her in problematic, but the top problematic, because she's really, like, riding the line of what's okay. But I think she overall could just get a rework, and we'd all be better off. But yeah, I'm gonna leave that P for now. Lee Sin is really cool. We all like insecting. We all like that that's in the game. He is an Azir type champion where I think, yes, he is probably too strong. He has like a lot of tools. I think that's a good place for him. Honestly, maybe Draven belongs up here. Yeah. Because Draven not so bad. It's really just the feast or famine part of him that gets him here. Which isn't all that different from Katarina. Huh. I'll move Draven up. Because he's really not bad. You know what I mean? Like, he's really not a bad champion for the game. It's just a Feast of Famine thing. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and lock in that change. So it's going to be funny. I should have said this at the beginning of the video, but you guys should, if you stop, or if for some reason you're going to leave the video, you should just skip to the end real quick and see where my tier list is, or see where I put everyone, because that's going to be a more complete picture, I think. But yeah, Lee Sin is cool. His kit's cool. He can feel kind of BS sometimes. His numbers get too high. It's like Azir. You're always playing like a game of like this really mechanical champ. Well, like kind of mechanical champion. But he has so much potential in his kit that it's hard to balance him. I think that's kind of where he is. Leo is really, really fair and balanced. I'm not going to lie. I think Leo goes up here. Yeah. She's frustrating to play against at times, kind of like Blitzcrank and Braum, but she's just so reasonable, right? Like, she just does her thing. She holds people in place, and that's what it is. I think she's always been pretty reasonable. She's like a really nice like shot calling champion. I don't know. I really like her. I think she has a good place in this game. She's not very BS. Lilia, no, I'm good, thank you. Lilia's pretty stupid. Let's go right here. Lilia should not be a top laner for one, I think. It's really annoying to lane against these kind of champions. We don't really need... Like, this is just like a more brainlet, obnoxious Darius. I'm not a fan of her. I'm not a fan of her sleep. I honestly, I think what it really comes down to is the speed, though. She does damage 7 times and gets us like 45% movement speed or something like that. It's like absolutely insane. I'm not a big fan. It's too hard to deal with this champion in team fights because of that. It's too easy for her to set up like multi-hits and get tons of speed. Her sleep is just generally insanely broken. And she can just sit there and fish for it all the time, right? You know what I mean? Like she is so good at getting picks. She is so good at team fighting. I will say, like, she does have weaknesses in the way that, like, she's not, like, a super crazy duelist on her own, you know? Like, you get on her face and kill her. Like, that is a thing. Is she, like, problematic, though? I think she's more of a Kayn-level champion, right? Is she as bad as LeBlanc? Yeah, I think she's, like, not completely unbalanced, but just kind of BS. Not like hurting the game though. I think she's fine. Ish. Not problematic? Yeah, that's fine. Lissandra, good champion for the game, I think. A little obnoxious. What's wrong with this champion? She's kind of boring. Um, Her ult is kind of BS, just point click. But she's good for the game, I think. I like her as a champion in this game. I think somewhere around here is good. I don't think she's unreasonable. The shadow clones, not shadow clones, but the little frost dudes that she makes are kind of obnoxious. But like that's again like your teammates are bad, so you get punished. It's not a great mechanic, but it's not like unfair. So yeah, I put her up there. I think she's good. I generally think like high CC, high utility mid laners are good. I like game being a team game. I think in general, like you should have to be better than your opponent to play assassins, and assassins shouldn't be like the first thing you pick. So yeah, I think Lissandra's good for the game for the most part. Lucian has this issue where I think he has too many. He has a cool design. He's fun to play, but he's got like double autos are just an issue, right? I think I'm going to come back to this a lot. Double autos are an issue unless they're on a really bad champion. And it makes him synergize with a lot of champions like too well. Like you think about like Lucian Nami, it's just obnoxious. I don't think he's terrible. I think he is always in need of adjustments. He is able to build all the items. He's another ADC like that, right? Which is why he's going to be meta one day because of lethality, the next day because of Black Cleaver, the next day because of, whatever. Crit on hit, whatever. So yeah, he belongs down here. Is he worse than Kayn? Actually, honestly, I'm going to move Lilia too. I think Lilia belongs about here. I think Lucian is not nearly as bad as any of these champions. I think he's around Brand level. I don't think he's as bad as Aatrox either. He is probably around Diana Gragas levels of BS. Huh. Yeah, this is fine. But, like, early game champions are good, so I don't hate him. But I would prefer like more like reasonable and balanced kits like Draven, for example. Like I think Draven's kit is more fair than Lucian's, even though Draven has more maybe upfront power. Like the synergies that Lucian gets are kind of like dumb. Lulu, oh god, Lulu. So like Kog'Maw can maybe be like an entire tier up if Lulu didn't exist. Polymorph is disgusting, and I really do like this champion. I've actually played a lot of Lulu for some reason. But I think she's a problem. I think Polymorph is a little bit of a problem, being point and click. And I think her synergy with on-hit AD carries is a little bit of a problem. I don't think she's a huge problem, though. Like, I think she's, like, right on the line. But I don't think she should remain in the situation she is, because I do think she actually causes the game more damage this way than otherwise. I think she needs a rework. 100%. And it's so funny that Aurelion just got a rework, and I'm like, he needs a rework again. He's bad. Fix it. But I think something needs to change about him. Like, he's not fine as he is. Alright, Lux. This is technically the champion I played the most. Where does it go? I think it's a really well-designed champion. In the way that it's very fair. Not here. And let me tell you why. Because this champion is so, like, linear, predictable. It's so simple, right? It's like a very Garen issue, honestly. It's better than Garen, for sure. Like I would put it around like a Mumu status, but below, because I think a Mumu's better. But like, she has tools, right? She doesn't do anything broken. Lux support is kind of annoying, yes, but there's just better mage supports you can play. So I don't really think like that's like a valid like argument as to why it's a bad champion. I think it's just like the champion's so easy to outplay. And like has so few tools that it can't be here. She doesn't need like a full rework, but she needs to be given some kind of mechanic that allows her to be more powerful. And not a ton. She doesn't need a ton of movement upwards. She just needs a little bit more agency in the game, you know what I mean? But yeah. I think she's fine. She's not like a problem for the game. She's not hurting the game. She's not like pulling people to the game either, right? She's not very exciting to play. You play her, she's like, oh, good, this is for beginners, and okay, I'm kind of bored, you know? As someone who has put in 700,000 mastery in this champion somehow, Champ's fun in the way I like the play style, but it can be a little bit frustrating to be so linear and predictable. And so for that reason, you might prefer other mages. And so I think she just needs like a small like quarter rework, and she'll be fine. Malphite, so simple. He just does the do. He's so fair and reasonable. He is a lot like Lux, actually, exactly like Lux. In that he is so... You know exactly what this guy does, and that is his problem. Like, it's same with the Mumu. Like, he's just... there's not much trickery here. He is a poke champ in lane. He transitioned into mid-game. He engaged for his team. He's a tank. Very simple. He might be broken. Usually, if these guys are broken, it's because their items are like, too strong or their numbers are too high. But, like, they're just never crazy. They're never, like, defining a meta. I don't know. Solid champion, though. Like, also pretty boring. So, yeah. Malzahar is similar, but slightly more bullshit. So, I think he's good. Like, they've gotten him to a point where he feels less BS. I don't think you're better than Galio. Or Gnar. Probably run Fizz level, I think, is fair. So, maybe Elise should be higher. Elise is a good champion. Yeah, this is about fair. Malzahar is really fair. He has one job. He locks down one person. That's not that crazy in a team fight because there's so many things. Like, if you go to lockdown zone, they might QSS it. They might cleanse... I don't think they can cleanse it, actually. I don't think you can cleanse the press. Either way, they might QSS it. Their support might, like, CC you, knock you up, cancel the ult. He's just really good at that one thing. It's what he does. And if you understand him, you can push in mid really fast. And you go and roam, and you help other players. He's just really fair and balanced. I don't want his numbers to get too high, because if he's too good, he's, like, too brainlet, and he can do what he needs to do, like, way too easy. And so I think he's in a good spot where he is now. Maokai... Oh, I hate Maokai. I hate his ult, because I think the potential for that ult to BBS is really high. I hate his saplings. I think his saplings are a dumb mechanic. I think they're more problematic when he's, like, a laner. I don't like... But he's, like, a really fair top laner, too. Like, he's a very reasonable top laner. I just think AP Maokai is what kind of, like, comes to my head when AP Maokai's meta is so bad. And right now, he's really strong, but maybe I shouldn't hate on this champion too much. Like, Maokai's probably fine. Maybe I'll put him in the bottom of this tier. Like, Maokai's kind of just really solid and really simple. And I don't know. I think he's fine. I think he's fine. I hate how he knocks people around because my teammates use this guy and knock them out of my abilities, and it makes me angry. I think he's fine for the game. I think he's pretty fair. I kind of wish he'd go back to top lane. Jungle is not so bad either, but nah, yeah, jungle's fine too. Yeah, I don't know. I can't hate on Maokai too much. Master Yi. Oh, God. Oh, good God. What do I do with you? This champion sucks. The only time he's actually good is when he's just absolutely broken. So he's a bad champ design, right? He's like he's very Katarina, though, right? Very Katarina. But he's so selfish. But that's not that much different than Katarina. I feel like he's very like Katarina. Is there a problem that would make him... So, yeah, I think he belongs next to Katarina. I think he's fine. I think his champ is fine. I think they should stop touching him until they inevitably one day rework him, right? I don't think he should be good. But no. I don't like him like Katarina. No, he's not the same as Katarina at all. He belongs down here somewhere. He's really, like, he's not broken at all. I just don't like this champ design, like, this idea in the game. But he's like, more frustrating to play with than Cat, I think. Like, I think all of his abilities are just, like, more BS than Cat. Really, though? Is he that bad? I don't think so. His champion sucks. It's just like the play style. It's so selfish. No. There's also, to be fair, Katarina's going to roam and play it with the team at least, right? As a mid laner. Massey just wants to sit in his jungle and do nothing. So no. Yeah, this champ is bad. This champ is annoying. This champ is obnoxious. That is actually the defining difference between him and Katarina. Is Katarina's going to play the game. Katarina's going to go in. She's going to make an interesting mid lane. She's trying to kill her opponent. She's going to roam. She's going to look for river fights, right? And it's still feast or famine. This guy's the same thing, feast or famine. But his actual game plan in the game is just to sit in his jungle and farm. And then sometimes if a lane overextends and he has red buff, he can go kill them until he has R, in which case he can just do that whatever. But like, I don't know. I don't like this guy. I don't really like the playstyle. I don't think he's good. He is just hot garbage. And I think he just exists to like teach new players how to play the game. Just not a fan. Miss Fortune. So this is a champion where like she has the same problem as Ashe, where I think like the base champion design is good and Miss Fortune support is terrible. God, it hurts me so much too. Like these should not be supports. The day that they make sure that these aren't supports anymore, they're fine. Miss Fortune support is not as bad as Ashe support, I think. I think Miss Fortune is like here. Maybe? Miss Fortune, where do I put you? She's so fair. She's so reasonable. And Miss Fortune support is not nearly as bad as Ashe, I think. I want to put it here. But I have to consider Miss Fortune support. Where would I put Miss Fortune support? And this is my problem, right? Miss Fortune and Ashe are like champions, like great design champions. And they just shouldn't be supports. And they just have no business in that role. And as soon as these get fixed, like Ashe goes to like the top tier, and Miss Fortune will either join her there or be up here with like Ezreal. I love them as AD carries. They're great designs for AD carries. Like, genuinely just so fair, so reasonable, easy to learn. I wouldn't say that Miss Fortune is difficult to master, but, like, she's just a good champ design. She makes the game better by being a part of it, genuinely. Not as a support. As a support, she's just a shitter. She's annoying. Nobody wants a Miss Fortune support on their team or on the enemy team. Nobody wants to play Miss Fortune support. Like, it's just... I mean, people want to play it. That's a lie. Because people play this shit all the time for some reason. And I can't fathom why. But, whatever. Yeah, Miss Fortune's down there. She could easily move up if they change this. Sorry, Miss Fortune mains. Not that there are any left, but, you know, it is what it is. Mordekaiser is the most fair bullshit champion ever. Where do I put you? You build QSS, this guy doesn't even function anymore, but you have to build a 1300 gold item for it to work. He's really strong. Is he here or is he higher? I think he's there. Is he? He's really bullshit, but like he's not at the same time. I hate it, but I think I gotta put him here. Because he's riding the line. Like, his kit is so good. I love his kit. I love the way he feels to play. I love his design. I love everything. His R is really bull, right? His R is really, really bull and really frustrating. And I totally understand why people don't like this champion because of that. However, QSS exists. So, oh. And sometimes he Rs and loses. His R just isn't as good as it seems. It just feels bad because every time you get R'd and there's no way to win, it's like, wow, well, I can't escape. But then, in that way, he's just like Camille. But worse. Huh. Alright. But you can QSS. Yeah. Yeah, he's just a better Camille. Holy shit. Less of a lane bully, granted, but... Yeah, no, this is a good champion. I think. Right? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Wow. I didn't think I'd say that about Mordekaiser, but I think Mordekaiser is a great champion. And I like him for new players. He's like Darius, where like I would say like if you're getting in a league, which is crazy because I'm talking about new players, like there are new players, ha ha ha, so funny. But if you're getting in a league, Mordekaiser is a great one to pick up. He's so simple. I think he's fantastic. Morg is good. I think Morg is a good champion. Morg is up here somewhere. The Black Shield is an insane ability. Her R is good. Her Q, like her whole kit's good. It's really simple, easy to pick up. I think I like her better than Bard. I think I like her better than Morg or Jinx. I think I like her better than Jace. And I like her better for the game than Gwen and Mundo for sure. Yeah, she's around Janna level. I like her more than Janna too. No, she's better than... she's a good champ design. I'm not gonna lie. Simple, but effective, right? Is she up here somewhere? Maybe? Morg is honestly a better design Lux now that I think about it. So here? Morg? Yeah, I think that's fair. She's a good champion. She'll always have utility in the game. She's not broken, overpowered, generally. If she's made overpowered by Riot, it's because they're being jerks again. I think she's a good champion. Nami, another champion I really like. I think it's really fair. I put Nami up here somewhere. Is Nami better than this? Does Nami belong up here? What's wrong with Nami? Her bubble's really fair. Her R's really fair. Her W's a little BS. Her E's a little BS. A little BS. I really like Nami. I think Nami's pretty fair. She is an enchanter? Is that a downside? No, I think she belongs up here. I think she's a good design. Better than Ahri. More fair than Ahri. No, I think I'll leave her there. I think Nami's really good for the game. I think this is like... Again, this is a tier of champions where I wish more champions were just like these champions. Ezreal's so close. Like, if they just didn't constantly break Ezreal, he would be up here too. For sure. Nasus. No. Wither is terrible. Stacking is terrible. He's such a greedy champion. He's so useless. I hate this champion being in the game on either team. Problematic? I would say Series Floss, right? Not as bad as Lilia. I'd say he's probably around Kayle levels, but probably a little bit more BS, honestly. And no, that can't be true. I'll put him here. I don't like Nasus. He needs a rework really bad. It is what it is, you know. I'm not trying to hate on dudes who just like stacking. It's fine. That could probably stay. But his kit is just kind of toxic. I think they should replace Wither with CC and then, like, make him, like... Just make Wither a CC ability, like a stun. That's a skill shot or something. You know? And just, like make this champion less BS. Is all. He's another champion where, like, when he has ult up, he's a completely different champion. Or, like, if he has Ghost or something, you know? I think he's fine. He just needs tweaks. Nautilus, oh god, you know, Nautilus is kind of BS. Like, I think he's too BS to be here, but he belongs up here somewhere. He's a good champ. Ezreal level? Not really. But above Annie. Like, Nautilus is a really, really fair, well-designed champion. I think. I think he's pretty reasonable, I'm gonna be honest. So, I couldn't rate him lower than this. He's just really good at CCing people, that's what he does. He has... two abilities, the CC, along with the passive, the CCs. He has his E, which slows, and his W, which keeps him alive when he's CCing people. He's very fair and balanced, very reasonable. It's frustrating to lose this guy, because sometimes it feels like he can just kind of, like, lock you to the ground and, like, poop in your mouth. But, like, I don't know. That's kind of what a support should do when they're ahead, right? I think Nautilus is very reasonable. And he has a lot of weaknesses. His Q can be blocked by walls. It's so huge it gets blocked by everything, honestly. Minions, other champions, whatever. He doesn't deal a ton of damage. He gets kited really easily once he's not literally right on top of you. And even more than that, too. He gets caught out, he dies. There's no escape. There's absolutely no escape for him at all. Once you get behind him, he can't do anything. So, yeah, no, he's super fair and balanced. I wouldn't say quite Leo levels, I think. Just because he's a little bit more dumb. Just like just a touch too BS. Maybe with, like, the passive snare. But, Nico. Nico is kind of awful. Like, as a champion, it's just not good. but the design is cool. The art is cool. The whole champ is cool. It's pretty fair. I like that her ego's her minions. It's really annoying. But, like, she's not good, so I can't even complain that much. I wouldn't rate her, like, a best of all time kind of champion. She's just kind of better than average. I want to say somewhere around Jinx, maybe. Yeah, maybe right here. She's fine. Nidalee is a really cool champ. Kind of bull, but, like, very high skill expression. Very cool jungler. I think I like her a lot. Excuse me. I think this champ is great for the game. I wish more champions were more like this, where there's more planning and more thought that goes into a gank. And this is like the difference between like her and other assassin junglers. Like she really, like, every time you die to Nidalee, you feel like you did something wrong. If you're frustrated about Nidalee, it's probably because she's better than you. Kind of like Elise, actually. Elise is very similar in that way. But she, even more so than Elise, I think is like less straightforward. So I like her. And I'm going to go ahead and say she goes here. If I were rating her for ARAM, she would be in the problematic tier. But Summoner's Rift, 100%. Nilah. This champion is awful. Invulnerability is bad. Her EXP passive is bad. Is she salvageable as a melee AD carry? Probably. Probably salvageable. So I wouldn't put her in harmful. But she has a lot of problems, and I don't like the way she is in her current state. She needs to be changed. Their idea with her was that she'd be a melee AD carry. She gets bonus experience for her and her support. She has to go in, right? She has like invulnerability dashes. Her R is basically Orianna R on her person. She's like big on like lifesteal, like a drain tank. I don't think she's a good design for the game. But I think they can make her work, and that's why she's not in the harmful tier. I think like she has a place in the game if they adjust her. Okay, so Nocturne is total BS. Absolute total BS. Holy crap. But he's actually kind of fair. like he can only do one broken thing. He can press R, and that's it. And other than that, he's basically Tryndamere with a CC. He's really not bad, like, for the game. But he has that one BS move. You just have to think about it. You have to play differently when it's up. You have to play differently when he's on your side of the map. Yeah, that's simple. He does have potential issues, right? Like, his R and Shinnle are potentially problematic, or his R with Yuumi is problematic. But I think he's fine by himself. And I think that's more of a problem with the other champions than him. Yeah, Nunu and Willump. A champion with double smites. He's mostly okay. I think he's just usually overtuned, to be honest. Like, his R is a terrible ability, right? We can agree on that? What is that thing supposed to do? That thing just doesn't work, I feel like. Again, I think like all his problems come from being overtuned. His snowball, like the move speed he gets from it feels a little BS, yes. But you can ward against that, and it's kind of fair. He's just really solid, right? He's just really tanky, hard to kill. If anything, I think when he chomps minions and stuff, he should gain less health. It's like maybe 2 bullshit, right? Because you get him down like 100, and he chomps a minion next to him, and he's like half health again. You know what I mean? So like that would be my issue, but it's just that. It is just maybe his chomp, like the healing on that, and otherwise he's fine. But I will say that healing is too high. So I think he is in the serious flaws tier, and that he has a serious flaw. But I think he's good for the game. Like, I think he's better than Karma. Like, that's where I would put him. If they just reduce the healing on that ability, I think we'd be fine. I think the idea of a jungler with double smite is not a problem for the game necessarily. I like the idea that you can pick a champion that should be able to get their objectives uncontested, right? Like, that's the thing. You have to kill him or he'll get it. That's fine. That's not broken necessarily. Because if you're going for 50-50 dragons all the time, that's a skill issue. It's not a problem with Nunu. It's a problem with you. You need to you need to strategize better around dragons and stuff like that. So, Olaf. They are always riding the line of making this guy broken. But I feel strongly that he is a Nocturne-like champion, right? Where he has like there's one BS thing about him. And that's that his lane phase is unfucking beatable. Holy Jesus Christ. You cannot beat this champion in a 1v1. There is no one on earth who can. No one. I mean, you can if you're better than them. But Jesus Christ, if you just play Olaf right, he doesn't lose a single lane in his life. Like, maybe Quinn. Maybe Quinn. And then again, once you get 6, you can turn that. You can do it. You can just run right through her and kill her. So it doesn't matter, right? Like, I think Olaf is good because you always like an archetype where like something is so good at one thing and then has a ton of other weaknesses because he has weaknesses. You make it 20 minutes in the game, already it's a different champion. It's already completely different. If you don't feed this guy 6 deaths in lane, okay, like we're talking, you know what I mean? Like his balance is just that, okay, I'm really strong early and I'm gonna make you lose, like I'm gonna have like a 50 CS lead, but if you just don't fight him, that's all he gets. And he's not super strong. It's not like your teammates can't deal with him. You know what I mean? And it actually isn't that hard to gank. He has no escapes. All he can do is press R and run. You know? So, he feels BS, but I think he's actually pretty fair, all things considered. I think it's just, it can be rough to get absolutely wally-whopped by this guy. And some people just want to fight all the time, and they don't like the idea of a matchup where he can't fight. And that's a fair complaint. But I don't think that makes him like a bad champion. Orianna. I'm not sorry. I'm going to go ahead and put that up here. I'm going to seem biased here. I'm going to say, so far, this is the best design champion that we talked about. Orianna's so fucking fair. It's insane. The last time I remember someone complaining about Orianna was like, God, I hate how she can QW auto for Thunderlords. It's so not broken, it's insane. Especially compared to like the creep in the game. She's so reasonable. She's so absolutely reasonable. Like, she can get bullshit combos, but it's all in champ select. It's all in synergy. That's exactly what this game should be about. Yes, you can create bullshit combos, but your whole team should have to comp to do it, right? It shouldn't be one champion, one Akshan, and you get this, right? This is bullshit with other champions. Yeah, okay. So she's crazy with Zac, right? But, like, these guys create those situations where, like, oh my god, that seems unfair. By themselves. They don't need help. That's what I love about these champions, right? The same thing with Braum, or Blitzcrank or whatever. Like, these guys create crazy combos with other teammates, but you have to draft around these champions, right? I love that. I love that so much. That's great. Ornn. Oh my god. Ornn is so close to being up here, but he's just a little bit too much, I think. But I like him. He is like the pinnacle of team picks. I think, honestly, honest to God, I think the one thing that puts Ornn over the edge for me is probably his foraging items for people. That seems like too much. But he's just so fair. Like, he is kind of BS, but, like, I feel like his kit is very predictable, and you just have to play around him a certain way. You have to respect this champion. But it's like a tank with the right power level, right? It's like a tank that can fight back. That isn't just a pushover. I really like Ornn. I love him as a teammate. I think he's really reasonable. I also feel like he's really reasonable in the enemy team. I feel like I've never fought an Ornn and just thought, wow, that is absurdly BS. It just feels fair. It feels like this champion is around the power level it's supposed to be. The items are the only thing. And I think if the items weren't there, he would be in top. 100%. Pantheon is total BS. However, he is like Olaf, and he has serious weaknesses. I think his lane phase is a little bit more fair, but it's still pretty dumb, right? Like, these guys are fair. If you want to complain about how lane against Pantheon and Olaf is like eating broken glass, you could, but if Olaf had a lane hard enough where I think it's fair and fine for the game, and it's okay for people to pick these kind of champions. And Pantheon's cool. I think most of his mechanics and stuff are... His synergy between his W and press attack is kind of BS. Like, as a support, it's a little bit more annoying. But honestly, I kind of like this champion. I kind of like the way he keeps the game honest. I like his ult. I like that he plays on the team. I like that he has 20 minutes to get the game over. Because if this guy goes to 30 minutes, dude, I'm sorry. He's not doing anything. He's going to have to flash W onto the AD carry and die instantly. And then if someone let up, he might have contributed something. You know what I mean? Like, he just does nothing in late game team fights. Or even some mid-game team fights, depending. So, I think Pantheon's pretty well-balanced. I think he has a sick design. So, yeah. Good for him. Poppy? Frustrating to play against sometimes, but good. It's good that she's a counter pick. We need counters for some of these crazy dashes and stuff in the game. I think she's really fair. She's definitely way better than Mundo. I mean, Jesus Christ. You probably belong somewhere up here, right? Are you perfect? Are you fair and balanced? Poppy is a really well-designed champion. I really like Poppy. I really wish she were better. Like, she just, like, truly doesn't have any BS. I really want to put her up here. Because she just... Like, the most BS thing is her R. But you can dodge it. You can interrupt her. Like, she just seems so reasonable the more I think about it. And yes, she's frustrating to play if you have a dash. But her W has a long cooldown. And it's just a counter, right? Like, there's so little counters for dashes in this game that it's unfair to, like, whine and cry that one champion has a counter, you know? And it's way more fair than Miasma, if you ask me. So, I think Poppy belongs up here. I think Poppy's super fair. Super fantastic for the game. Pyke. Oh, I have a love-hate relationship with this champion. I play this champion so much. I like this champion. I think he's not really a problem for the game. Balance-wise, he's fine. He's really cheesy, but he's not too strong. I had a problem with him. His ult is maybe my problem. The idea that he... Excuse me. The idea that he is, like, encouraged to steal resources from his AD carry is kind of annoying. I think that's the problem with this guy. No, he's fine. The problem is the players. He doesn't encourage good behavior as a champion, like as a design, but he's very like in this tier, and the fact that he's an early game dude, he has weaknesses, he gets burst, he gets caught, these things exist. Now, you can play him really safe, he's really strong at what he does, and he can end games really quickly and generate a lot of gold, and it seems really BS, but the champion's just bad. He can't build health. He will always get caught out. He will never be as useful as like Braum or Alistar at like 30 minutes, even 25 minutes sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, even if he's super fed, those champions will still be better. And I think he's just another like crazy strong early game pick. And yeah, he get there's like the counters to Pyke, Flash, Zanya's, Banshee's Veil, like all these things are like really like fair counters to him. And he just feels a little BS in lane, but the same way like these two feel BS in lane, and that's fine. But yes, the only problem again is like the idea that the support, it's a really selfish champion, and that reflects in the player base. So the champion design isn't the problem; it's the people who play Pyke. Truthfully, if we're being honest with each other, I think Pyke is fine. Qiyana. I don't like this champion, but I don't think it's problematic. I think it's too easy to land her R. I think her R is ridiculous. In an objective-based game, where all the objectives are surrounded by a ring of walls, how is this champion ever going to be not overtuned? She's a lot less weak now with like the tank meta that's going on, but she was ridiculous before. And I kind of think she's a little bit of a problem. She has a lot of dashes too, and like it's kind of unnecessary, like how much she has. And so I want to put her down here because I think she needs tweaking, but I don't think she's not worse than Kayn, I think. But she definitely needs help. She needs changes, I think. Quinn. I really like Quinn in design. I do. I like how she's designed to be a top lane AD carry. I like how there was a time when we designed champions for top lane. She's really frustrating to play into, but she has a lot of weaknesses, right? Like, she gets ganked, she can't get out of gank. She's great at 1v1s, but 1v2s, instantly everything changes, right? Her R is really interesting to get around the map, but, like, she just loses out on a lot. I like her as a champion. I think she needs to be toned down in some ways and then made into more of a team player, maybe? Like, more utility on her kit. But honestly, I think she's fine. Like, she's, like, pretty fair and balanced. She's just annoying, right? It's, like, the only complaint. And there are more annoying champions higher up. I honestly feel like she's a little bit more balanced than some of these guys. Like, maybe around, like, right here. Like, she's fine. There's nothing wrong with her. It's just annoying to play against Quinn. Rakan. Rakan is pretty bull, but I think he's reasonable. Yeah, I want to... He's really safe, but he loses a lot of power because of him being safe. You know, like, he's not as good of an engager as, like, Leona. But he's a little BS because of it, too. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's probably higher. Maybe around here? Yeah, I mean, no, he's good for the game. Or how much higher would he go? Better than Draven, better than Cat, better than Bard. No doubt about it. Better than Nico? Let's put her... Man. That's maybe right here. Let's put Rakan there. I think... Rakan is not very BS. Like, you do kind of have to be better than your opponent to see really good results. Or you have to lock in, like, Xayah Rakan. And that's something you can stop. Like, if Xayah Rakan's meta, simple, just ban one of them. You know what I mean? Like, and you don't even have to use two bans. Just one is enough. I did think it's a little weird that he has a synergy with the champion like that ridiculous, but I don't think it really breaks the game, so I think he's fine. Rammus, I don't like Rammus. I do and I don't. I like how he like fixes the game in a way, but he also is the problem. Where would I put you? Maybe here. The problem with Rammus is he's a counter pick. Kind of like, and again, I don't think counter picks are terrible, right? Like, I think, like, Galio is a perfect counter pick. But I think Galio is a lot less offensive than Rammus is. Rammus is too much. So he is so geared to beat 80 comps, like, it's ridiculous. So if you pick him and do a non-80 comp, you are trolling. I think they should balance him out and make him not like that. And they can keep the Armadillo feeling, too. Like, he can have an AP Thornmail, right? It doesn't matter. You don't have to make it like, oh, you know, it's only auto attacks. But they need to, like, pull him back a little bit. He's a super solo queue champion, right? Like, if you ward and stuff, he's not so bad. I think he just needs to be tooled to be a more well-balanced champion. I'm so sorry. And not just a hard counter to 80. I don't like that. And I don't really think we should have champions that are just counter picks, because Galio is not just a counter pick. You don't want to pick him into an AD champion, but if you did, you wouldn't just lose. You know what I mean? Anyway, Rek'Sai. I do not like new Rek'Sai. I liked old Rek'Sai a lot better. This champion is not like incredibly bull. Its R is kind of stupid. It's not more stupid than this champion is just kind of another stat stick. I want to put it here. I think Rek'Sai's fine. I think it's a little obnoxious how much damage Rek'Sai does, in addition to being difficult to kill. But I don't think the champion's like unbalanced. Like, I think it's fine. I think it's fun to play. It's a little simple. If anything, The problem with Rek'Sai is the visual clarity. It's so hard to tell what the fuck Rek'Sai is doing for other players, especially new players. It took me a lot longer to realize how Rek'Sai works than other champions. And Rek'Sai is really simple, so you would think it would be easy, but you just can't tell. It just looks like she's like just shaking around and spazzing out all the time. So I think the visual clarity on that champion needs help, but otherwise I think it's fine. Rel is good. I like Rel. She's boring. That is definitively an issue with her. But she's a well-designed champion for the game. I think I have to put her up here. She's just a little boring. That's the only issue. But, like, the champ is really fair, in my opinion. I think it's a good support. I wish more supports were like this. I'm not going to rate her higher because I think it matters how much fun a champion is, which is why these guys are higher. But, like, she's very reasonable for the game. I like her a lot. Renata's a wild one because she is broken. I truly believe this champion is way, way strong. However, I don't think it's actually like unreasonable. Like, I actually do like this champion. She's a little BS, but she's more reasonable BS than a lot of other champions that have come out recently, and I actually do like her. I actually do think most of her abilities have counterplay. The only one that's really, again, like, something League players don't think about anymore is they don't like playing against champions, right? But that's because they just want to beat their head against the keyboard and run at them. If you think about what tools Renata has and you decide to fight based on that, that makes that champion way less powerful. When you run at her with no plan on how to deal with her stupid revive, then yes, of course you're going to die and get no kills, and you're going to be mad about Renata Glass. But I think Renata's fine. It's just a really strong champion, like a really good champion, and I think it's a really cool design. I think it adds to the game. I think we need more supports with sick designs like this to make people actually play support. And I think she's a very positive addition to the game. Renekton. Renekton is like Olaf, but maybe like less bull and more bull at the same time. I'm going to put him above Olaf because I think Renekton's more beatable than Olaf, and I won't lie, the unbeatability of Olaf is kind of dumb. But God, Renekton is some BS. I'll tell you what. But he's fair. I mean, again, he falls off like a rock. I don't love the idea of him going Prowler's Claw, but even with the Prowler's Claw builds, he dies instantly. He has no resistances with his Mythic, right? He's so squishy. And the only thing he has to survive is his R, which is a cooldown you can keep track of, right? So I think the champion's probably fair and balanced and fine. Strong, sometimes frustrating, yes, but not like unreasonable. Rengar is a bitch. I'm not a fan of this champion. How much do I hate him though? Really, like, more offensive than these champions for sure. Well, you know what? No. Maybe here. I feel strongly that Rengar top should not exist. I feel strongly that pick is kind of BS. And very ridiculous. And it kind of gatekeeps the role for a lot of champions, you know? The amount of damage this guy does is, like, ridiculous. And he's not as bad jungle. Like, honestly, I don't even think people play him jungle anymore. I think it's just, this top laner is so BS that I think that's where all the problem comes from. And I don't know what to do with Rengar. I think Rengar should be a jungler. And the problem is that he doesn't really work as a jungler because the jungler role has creeped. It's hard. You know what, though? Is he problematic? Like, does he have to be changed to the game's ruined? No, not really. He just shouldn't be a top laner. He needs a rework of some sort. But I don't think he's like Satan, you know? He's not Lulu. So, yeah, I think it's fair. Riven. Riven is very BS. Very cool champion. People really like her, right? I don't personally play Riven. I don't really like Riven. I've always been on the other side of the fence. However, excuse me again. Riven has brought a lot of people in the game. She's fun to play. She has a ton of potential. Very high skill ceiling. That is good. I feel like she's around Irelia levels of BS, right? Because like you see the champion and you play against a bad player and it's not a big deal, and then you play against a good player and you're like, that champion is still a problem, I think. I think Irelia's a little bit more BS though. I think these champions are very similar in their problems, per se. But not necessarily similar in gameplay. Although Riven is... Some credit to Riven. No, they're both stronger than they seem at early levels, though. Her level 1's insane. I think she's fine right there. Yeah, that's fine. Rumble. I do not like Rumble. Rumble's a bad champion. He is a problem. He is like a problem. But for the record, I think Ophelia should be above Corki and Fiora. Rumble... Is Rumble worse than Nivea? I think so. Is Rumble worse than Ash Support? No. Yeah. Rumble is just very obnoxious. I'm not really sure. Like, the champion's not good. He's just, like... just terrible to play against. It's super cheesy. And nobody knows how to play against him anymore. I really would like to see him just get a rework. I don't think, like, the solution is to fix him as he currently is. Just make a new champ. Or, well, not a new champ, you know what I mean? But, like, just rework him. I think it's simple. Ryze. Ryze is always riding a line for me. I think he's a real problem champion, but I don't think he's a Nivea level problem. Well, I mean, so let's be clear. Faker showed off how good Ryze can be at the last Worlds. But who else can do that? No one. So is Ryze a problem? Because Faker exists? I don't think so. He's still a problem. Like, he's still pretty bull. Maybe around here. My problem with Ryze... Oh, there's a lot of problems, right? You basically just build not to die and to dish out a lot of damage. And there's this point in the mid-game where, like, it just all clicks. And Ryze becomes a champion, and he's obnoxiously strong. And to be absolutely fair, he's kind of shit until that point. At least that is my impression. Not when Faker plays him. When Faker plays him, you know, he's just got a champ select. But this champion just feels BS. He needs to be more... I don't know how to explain it. I don't want this champion to be good. Let's put it that way. So I think his kit needs to be more fair. I think his kit is, like, just too dumb. Like, his abilities are too... They do too much damage. Too easy to land. Very low cooldowns. Very obnoxious. Like, the items he synergizes with, you know, he's, like, taking phase rush. He's running at you. He's tanky. You can't kill him. I don't want this champion to be good. So, that tells me that there's some kind of problem with it. That, like, I feel like his gameplay is just too dumb. And, like, too, like... I don't know how to put it. Basically, I think he just needs adjustments and he'll be fine. And honestly, if I were ever stuck in a game with Faker playing this champion, he'd be harmful and he'd have to be removed from the game. But I don't know what to say. Like, I don't know what to say about Faker. Samira, I hate this champion. This champion is terrible. I don't like it. I'm gonna be honest. I think I want to put it in harmful. This champion's really not... Like, is this champion broken? No. Do I hate everything about it? Yes. Tons of dashes that reset. Her R is a 5-second cooldown. She has a 360-degree wind wall. It has a good long cooldown on it, yes. But it's annoying. It's just... She feels so bullshit. And I just don't think we needed this. We have Katarina in the game. Why do we make this? It's just an 80 carry version of Katarina, and it feels so samey and so much more BS too, right? Like, I like that Katarina has to stop moving the ult. Why is this different? Right? It feels like a creeped Katarina for so many reasons. It's the same Feast and Famine playstyle, so she's absolutely useless, but she's way more BS because she's built to work together with CC support, right? Like she wants your Nautilus support or your Braum or whatever. She wants that, and then she's going to play off of that. And I just don't like this. I don't like this champion. I don't think it really made the game better in any way. I don't think she filled a niche that we didn't already have. And I don't think she's like, she makes the game experience better on average. I would really like to see her go. I don't think she's unbalanced, like, to the point where, like, it's obnoxious. But I don't really know. I mean, is she fixable? Probably. Okay. Yeah, I put her here. I think. Sejuani. What would I do with Sedge? Sedge is good and fair, but, like, way too good. All the time. So, like, she's a fair champion, but her, like, she's always overtuned. Always overtuned. I don't understand why, honestly. But, like, that doesn't make her a bad champ design. Like, she's pretty fair in general. Maybe the unkillability is too much. Like, she's just way too unkillable, and she does too much damage. And these are numbers fixes, right? Like, they could just fix this. If she just did less damage, it'd be fine. So, yeah, she's a good champion design. Riot just refuses to balance her. Like, someone at Riot, like, has, like, a real hard-on for her. And they just will not let it go. So, yeah, I think I'm going to rate her around there. I feel like she's a little bit... No, she's less BS than Maokai, because Maokai has the support variant, which I think is terrible for the game. Senna. This thing is terrible. I hate Senna. I don't like Senna for the game at all. I don't like ADCs as supports. I don't like the infinite scaling. I don't like how her R is global. I don't like how you don't have to land her R for it to be useful. I don't like how she's an obnoxious poke champ. I don't like how she slows on everything. I think she's terrible. I honestly don't like her at all. Is she fixable, though? I don't like her stealth. Her CC is kind of reasonable, but it's annoying, too, that a marksman has CC. And she's going to continue being a problem. And she's going to be a problem forever. Does she have a place in this game, though? And this is the hard question, right? This is what I think makes the difference between harmful and problematic is, do I want to keep Senna around? I like her for story reasons. I think her design's cool. Like the big gun, tiny woman kind of thing. That's cool. And she's like, we always thought like Senna was like some damsel in distress, and then she comes out and she's like totally BA, and she's like, yeah, I didn't need help. I think she's good. Fine, maybe. Worse than Samira, though, for sure. Like, she's down here. I think she needs a rework really bad. Like, she needs to be changed. But I wouldn't put her in, like, a harmful tier, right? Like, you know what I mean? Seraphine. I did not like Seraphine. I did not like Seraphine at all. Why does Seraphine exist? So, first of all, Seraphine is a creeped Sona. That's it, and people will say that's not true, but it is 100% true. She is just better than Sona. She does everything Sona does but better. Fulfills her purpose better. Why? B, she's ridiculous. Like, she just has so much on her kit. It's so much. I really don't like this champion. Is she a problem for the game, though? Probably. Is she down here? Probably not. Like, Seraphine is probably around here. I think she's worse than LeBlanc. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. I don't like Seraphine. It's not good. I don't know how to fix her exactly. I think she should be moved more towards... First of all, these two champions need to be differentiated, so we need to rework Sona, right? And then I think and this is me, I think they should make Seraphine more utility based. I think they should make Sona like more of like the aggressive one. But that's me. That's my thinking. And so I think they should like lower her damage and make her more focused on CC and shielding. Personally. Anyway, set. This champion's really good. I like this champion a lot. He is kind of BS though. Maybe right here. This is a mix. Like, he's so fun to play. I'm sorry. Oh my god. Like, you guys are like listening to me like slowly die right now. Set. Oh god. I am going to die. Set is sick. Everything about him is really cool. His design is cool. His general feeling is cool. Playing him feels good. I like this champion for the game. He is BS. That is what stops him from being here. Like, he is not completely unlike, like, Darius. You know what I mean? Like, he just has, like, some dumb abilities, man. Like, what the heck? And if anything, maybe the worst thing is how hard he punishes tanks. Because I actually don't want them to punish tanks. Like, I don't know why they like to do that so much. Like, they don't want tank meta. Well, what tank meta really looks like are bruisers building tank items. So, I don't know. But I like Set a lot. I think Set's great. He just needs to be kept an eye on, is all. Shaco, this champion, I don't think is problematic, but, like, he's not that bad. Above Kiana and Lilia. Probably even Kha'Zix. Probably around Nasus levels. Like, Shaco's just supposed to be annoying. And I don't understand why that's a champ identity. I'm not gonna lie. I just don't like him at all. Like, it's okay. He doesn't seem to be very good at anything. Like, his main calling is his stealth ganks, which are good. Something that Twitch and Evelynn are also capable of. So I don't know if it's, like, super crazy good. Like, I don't know. I think they should rework him, make his kit more interesting. Like really, most of his abilities exist only to be frustrating more than anything. Like, his boxes aren't, like they're just annoying. Like, he's not a bad champion, necessarily. It's just, like, why, though? Kind of a lot of, like, Teemo, which I'll talk about here in a moment. Like, they're just annoying. Like, no one really enjoys playing against this. And I don't understand why. I don't know. Anyway, Shen is good. I like him. He's a team player. His ult is kind of BS, but I think he should go pretty high. I don't think he's more reasonable than Malphite or Morgana or Lux or Galio. He's a little bit more BS than Galio, but he belongs up here somewhere. Like, he's a good champ. Less fair than Fizz for sure. Maybe right here. He's a good champion for the game. I think he's reasonable. His ult is annoying because it changed the way you play the game. But that's not, like, terrible. You know? It is what it is. Shyvana. Ugh, God. Shyvana's just not well designed at all. In this case, it's funny, too, because I don't think she's going down here because, like, and she's not going down here because she's, like, bullshit or anything. She's going down here because she's just so bad. She just has no niche in this game. She just has no place in her current state, and she needs that rework really bad. And it's coming. So, she'll get better, but she just doesn't, like, she's not fun to play anymore. She doesn't have any good builds. And she's just really mediocre, and she relies so much on dragons. And if your bot lane loses, she just doesn't get to play the game, and you lose. Like, if your bot lane loses, you effectively have 2 champions on your team now. You know what I mean? Like, that's terrible. So, this champ, just no. Singed, oh god, this champion is a good meme. also kind of like the worst. Honestly, I wish this champion would get a rework and would be more interesting. I think right now he's very Shaco-esque, where he's just kind of obnoxious. I think he's way better than Shaco though, which is almost a problem. Yeah, I'd put him here because he's actually good. That's the worst part. Like awful champ designs that are good are worse than awful champ designs that are not that good. If that makes sense. Like he's just annoying. He's not fun to play, and he's just a real like a jerk off to play against. You know, he runs at you, flips you, runs around you, does almost nothing. I don't think it's a very exciting play pattern. I don't like that he's like a mid laner right now. That's like also beyond degenerate. So yeah, I think that champion just needs a rework, but I wouldn't like eject him from the game necessarily. And honestly, if he doesn't change, it's not the worst. He just needs to be kept in order. And you know, the proxying Singe thing is, I don't think it should stay in the game, but it is funny. So, I mean, that's my... But again, like, it being funny doesn't make it justified to keep it in the game, right? Which is, I'm going to get to Teemo soon. Sion! I love Sion, and I hate Sion, and here's why. I'm going to rate this guy... I want to rate this guy high, but I can't. And I think he belongs here. Sion's kit is amazing! Amazing, 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 let me tell you. But Hullbreaker, Demolish, his ult doing damage to towers, these are just mistakes. Suicide Sion is not good for the game. It's sad. If they fix this build, I can put Sion in near perfect because, oh my god, this champion's so fair. If you lose to him, you are bad. He's so fair. He's so fun to play, too, even though he's bad. Like, I love this champion, and I hate how people have found a way to make him lame. It's so amazing how anytime you have something cool, the internet will take it, and they will dissect it to the point where they're like, it's not cool anymore. Wow, thanks, guys. Not you guys, you know, but the League community, so if you're part of that, I hate you. You are the problem. Be gone. Anyway, Sivir. I like Sivir a lot. I like Sivir a lot. I like Sivir a lot, actually. Yeah, no, she's really reasonable. I would rate her here, I think. She's really reasonable, really fair. I don't like lethality. I think they should stray away from making her a lethality champion, but she's really fair and reasonable, and glad she's in the game. Skarner, pretty fair and reasonable as well. I do like him. I don't like his towers. That might be the worst part about him. And that might get him to the bottom of this tier. Just because I think the game would be better without his Dominion minigame. If he just got those stats in his side of the jungle or something like that, or I don't know, you know what I mean? Like something else, but it's kind of dumb. Or just give him an overall buff, like get rid of that mechanic, and then give him another, like a better passive or something. I would love that. But like the mini Dominion minigame, I'm not really a fan. It's just kind of stupid. Sona. There was nothing wrong with this champion. I don't understand why they felt the need to make a replacement for her. She is fine. She's very annoying. But she's always been fair, right? Like, I feel like she's, like, the exact opposite of Pyke. Where, like... Well, they're both cheesers, right? But she's just a giga poke champ. Like, she's so annoying. She has poke and healing. Oh, my God. But she dies instantly when you touch her. She has, like, the lowest base health in the game. Yeah, this champion is fair. It always has been. Now this is Sona if it weren't fair. This is not okay. Problematic? Yeah, I think so, actually. Worse than Lulu? Yeah. Worse than LeBlanc? Yeah. Worse than Seraphine? Yeah. Worse than Relyne? Yeah. Worse than Echo? Yeah. 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 Ooh, worse than Fiora. Yeah. Corki? Yeah. Nivea? Yeah. Rumble? Yeah. Yeah. Ashe support. This is where it's getting hard, right? Ashe support? Now we're talking. Yeah. Cassiopeia top. Ooh. I think I found my spot. Soraka's really obnoxious. In theory, she's fine. I think a real problem is her ult. I really wish her ult did something else. I don't like her global heal. It's really dumb. And, like, it's actually almost worse than Karthus ult in some ways because it's a shorter cooldown. But, like, really, like, interfering with other lanes all at the same time, it's really annoying. It's too much of a boon for her team. And she's also such a strong champion. Like, her movement speed towards damage champions, how safe you can play this champion, her silence is insane. Their silence is really, really, really good. This champion is so underrated. And, like, you might not think, like, oh, Soraka is this problematic? Like, oh, Janna's up here. Like, Janna's so annoying. But no. This is so much worse than Janna in every way. By the way, mind you, Janna gives shields. Let's say that Janna gives a shield 1.5 times larger than the Soraka. Okay. Well, how do you handle this? You walk away, the shield disappears, and they're at the same health they were before. What about Soraka? No, you can't do that. They just get healed. And yeah, it costs her health. But every time she lands her Q, she regains health. And she can get health regen. I mean, there's just so many things. I am not a fan of this champion. I think it's bad for the game for a lot of reasons. A lot of reasons. And I'd really like to see it get reworked. I think she could be fine. And I think her ult could be cool. Like, I like the idea of, like, a really cool healing ult. I don't think this is the one. And I think it should be based more on proximity than global. But, Swain is really BS, but really cool. Really easy, but really fun. I think he's a well-designed champion for the game. I'm not gonna lie. I think he's, like, pretty fair. Yeah, I'd put him around here. I think he's good for the game. But he can feel a little overtuned sometimes. I think if his numbers are fine, it's fine. Like, I don't think he should be the top 80 carry in the game, for example. And I think maybe they could tune down his damage a tad. Sometimes. But, I don't know. I like him. He's a good battle mage. He's maybe the only good battle mage, honestly. Like, what other battle mages do I have rated really high? Fiddlesticks? Yeah, he is the best battle mage for sure. And they're really bad at making battle mages, let me tell you. Silas. Battle mages. Is Silas going here? Silas is a really cool character in design. I think stealing ults is interesting. But I'm struggling to see how to fix him in my head. I don't like that he's AP Warwick, first of all. I don't like that he's way better Warwick than what Warwick does, second. And third, he's way better than Warwick because he has the best utility on the enemy team. That makes him scale so well. And he makes every ult scale with him. And it's like kind of difficult to predict sometimes like what ult he's going to take. It's just so much to think about when you have to think about like the enemy team having 9 ultimates instead of 5. I don't think he's good for the game. I think he's always overtuned, and I think the reason he's always overtuned is because his kit is just too much. There's too much on his kit. The alternative is he just doesn't deal damage, and he'd still be a good champion. I think if they want to fix him, I think the answer would be to turn him into a tank. I think it would be better if he were a tank than a mage or assassin or whatever he's supposed to be. But I don't know. I'm really on the line with this one. I want to say keep him because he's a cool character. But I really don't think he's helping the game at all. Yeah, I think if they made him a tank instead, he'd be fine. I think if they tuned down his damage, it's too much. You shouldn't be able to go mid. Like, he should be a top laner, and he should be a tank. And I think I'd be fine with that. Or even, like, a tank in the jungle would be fine, too. But he just does so much damage. Just so many dashes. They just need to rework him, I think. And I get he's fun to play. I don't want to take that from people. But, man, he's so BS to play against. Like, it's so unfun. The amount of people that enjoy playing him are a small minority compared to the amount of people who don't have fun playing against him. Syndra's cool. I like Syndra. The rework helped her. She feels more fair than she was before. So, that's a plus. I don't think she's incredible. Like, I feel like she's around here somewhere. She's pretty reasonable. I kind of like her more than Malzahar, but maybe around there. She's reasonable. She's not exceptional. Her ult feels a little BS. Actually, another thing about it, the point click ultimate doing so much damage is kind of dumb. Still like this champion. I might put her a little bit lower though. Yeah, let's put her there. So I like her, but you know, the R is a little dumb. I kind of wish her R. I've always said I kind of wish her R would be a skill shot or something, because she's kind of supposed to be a mechanical champion anyway. So why make it point and click? I don't really get it, but it's okay. Tahm Kench. Oh, Tommy. I want to like this champion. I do. I think he's a problem though. I do. Not gonna lie. How low though is he? He's not as bad as these guys. Nope, siree. He's not as. I think I prefer Fiora somehow. He is obnoxious. I don't think he should be a laner. I would really like it if he were just a support. You know what I mean? Like he's supposed to be, but he's not. He's always taking top. He's always taking somewhere else. I really want him to be a support. But he's just so cheesy, you know? He's difficult to kill. He does so much damage. It just feels like he is trying to do too much. I think if they tone down his damage a little bit, maybe we'd be fine. Like that's the problem, right? Is like he just keeps leaving bot lane. He has so much good utility. Like his R is so good. He now has that knock up where he goes underwater, right? And he like, you know, flies up somewhere else. That's a really good knock up. I like that. That helps his kit a lot, like get away from like the obnoxious stuff. He has the gray health, which has always been good. I'm gonna be honest. I think he's a problem as it is. He's a good meme, and I don't hate the champ design completely. But I think it needs work still. Like, it needs to be tweaked. And, you know, everyone lives in fear of Tahm Kench coming back in meta. And then the other half of the player base just goes and plays Tahm Kench top. And no one has fun. I mean, the Tahm Kench players do, but everyone quits the game, so who are they going to play against? Other Tahm Kench players. You know what that means? They're 50-50 drafting Tahm Kench from each other, you know? So, yeah, nobody wants that. So, yep, let's move on. Taliyah, I love this champion. This champion's super fair. If you disagree, you need to get good. Do I like it better than R8? Yes. The R is the only BS thing, is that she can fly across the map. Really. I think right here is fine. Excuse me. I don't think she's like a super icon of the game, which is maybe why I wouldn't rate her higher. I think she's really fair, but her champion design and her kit is like a little bit much for the average player. And like she's not like a flashy big titty woman, so like people ain't gonna like, this is not like box art level character, you know. But I think she's good for the game. I think she's reasonable, fair. I'm obviously biased. I like this champion a lot, but I really don't think this champion's unfair. I feel like it never really has ever been too unfair. It's been strong for sure. But again, it's like another champion where like a faker picks it up, all of a sudden everyone's like, well, we gotta nerf that, you know. Talon. Talon's rough. Because Talon I want to put high, but he's kind of ridiculous. His kit is just way too good. But he's not, like, he didn't see pro play, so obviously it's not good enough, right? I like Talon. I like how he's a really strong early game. I like how he falls off really hard. I like how he has a kit that's built to play with your team. I like that. I like how he's like all for like those jungle skirmishes. He has really good wave clear. I don't think he's unreasonable. Is he BS? Like, does he belong in this tier, or does he belong at the bottom of the next one? I think Nyx Lee Sin's probably fine. I think he's a little bit better than Lee Sin, Azir, and Karma. No, yeah, he belongs up here because he's not worse than like the Tower Breaker Scion. I think he's fine. Like, we need early game champions in every role. We need like cheesers. That's good. This is the kind of cheese I want, right? I want Talon and not Sylas. That's what I want. I want a champion that is easy to understand, easy to play, and he's a super cheeser, sure, but like he definitely doesn't scale, right? Like if you're gonna super cheese me in lane, then you shouldn't scale and have the best ultimate in the game, so no. Taric. Taric is a really well-designed champion that does harmful things. I fear that Taric is a problem. I think, I like him in theory, but he just does a little bit too much. I would put him maybe at the top of problematic, because I think invulnerability is just not a good mechanic, right? Especially AoE mobility, or invulnerability. I'm sorry. It's just a slippery slope, and he's a really good funneler. There's just a lot of things about Taric that make me think he could go problematic any moment. I think of the funnel meta when you play Master Yi and Taric together, and you don't even go bot lane with your AD carry. No, actually, I think it was Taric mid, right? And you go and you clear mid lane, and you go back and clear the jungle. He's just always on the verge of doing something dumb and problematic. But the champ design is so close. I think they should just change his ultimate, and I think he'll be fine. But I think his ultimate's a problem for the game. I'm gonna be honest. I think it's too strong, and their only choice is to keep him in the dirt and unplayed. Otherwise, people will realize that. But Fabio is absolutely fabulous. Let me tell you. Teemo. Oh, Teemo. So I want to put Teemo next to these two. But here's the thing. A Shaco and a Singe can be useful. So this guy actually goes in the problematic tier. Is he as problematic as broken champions? Not so sure. Yeah, I'd put him about here. Here's the problem with Teemo, and I'm not sorry for what I'm about to say. Teemo is an old champion with a very old, bad kit. It's bad. It's just not usable. It's not good. It's not scaled. The power creep is too much, and he's just not playable anymore. And I truly believe he is not playable. That's right. This guy is decisively. There is no champion on this list that I would tell you. If you pick this in a ranked game, you are decisively inting, except for Teemo, I think. Teemo is, in my opinion, the worst champion in the game. Period. I don't care what win rate Ryze has. Teemo is the worst champion in the game. Let me tell you why. The only two things in his kit that matter, even remotely, are his Q and his R. For his R, he has mines, right? That basically give you vision and deal damage. The better the team that you play against, the less useful they are. Once they buy a sweeper lens, his champion is useless. Useless. His Q is good because it blinds someone. That is not enough. That is not enough to be a champion. This guy picking this champion is inting. I cannot fault someone for having fun playing Teemo. Alright? So it's not fair for us to get mad at people for playing Teemo. But that's the problem, is when they play Teemo, they're literally griefing us because they're picking the by far worst, most useless, most selfish champion in the game. And I think it comes down... I'm so sorry. It comes down to Riot to buff this guy and to rework him to make him so that he's not griefing me by just being in the game, So that's my 2 cents on this. I think his rework will make him not anything like he was before. He might be able to keep the mushrooms, but almost the blinding dart and the mushrooms might be able to stay the same or similar, but everything else is going to have to change. And I don't know. People might not be excited for that, but I really don't see very many people playing Teemo. And honestly, most of the people playing Teemo are screaming racial slurs in chat anyway. So I'm a little surprised they're even still able to play the game, to be honest. But whatever. You know what? Next one, Thresh. We like Thresh here. Thresh is good. I hate Thresh because he's so good. I think he belongs in this tier. I think. Yeah, I'm going to say he does. His Lantern feels a little BS. But it's not. You know what I mean? There's a delay to everything. He's very reasonable. I in the moment, I can say I hate this champion because I do kind of hate playing against it. But just because it's so good. And it matters so much when their Thresh is so much better than your support. And it's very frustrating. But, that isn't, the champion. That's dude, that guy over there, why aren't you more like him? Why are you Teemo support? Why are you sitting in the bush? Why are you? What are you doing? Why are you watching me die? You know what I mean? Like this champion, I love when people play him well. I hate people who take this immaculate champion and build Noon Quiver. Oh my god. If you build Noon Quiver straight to Dirk in this champion, you are a monster. You are a monster. You are taking the Mona Lisa and you are fornicating in her mouth. Anyway. Tristana is BS, but not unreasonable BS. I think she needs to be fixed up a little bit, but she's not like unreasonable, you know? She just feels like a little too much sometimes. Yeah. I'm a little concerned about this champion. I'm gonna move Karma down. I'm gonna move Karma down a lot. Actually. Karma doesn't belong all the way up here. I think Rammus is also a little bit more like, let's do this. I'm going to do some adjusting. Apologies. Yeah, this is fine. See, this is like the 5 champions that can never be good because, Jesus Christ, the game will be unplayable. But, wow, they're all so much fun to play. Anyway. Yeah, no. Tristana is just a little BS. But I think they just need to rework her. Like, for sure, like, some things need to change. Like, her E passive should change at least. And I kind of wish there weren't so many W resets in her kit. Like, her, I would say, if anything, like, her, maybe her E and R and passive should be moved around a little bit. But I don't think she's terrible for the game or anything. As long as she's not overtuned, again, she's fine. Trundle, this champion is so broken, it's insane. I actually think he's kind of fine for the game. As long as, again, he just can't be overtuned. You can't just buff these champions into oblivion all the time and be like, wow, Trundle has 60% win rate and he's played in 4 roles? That's so weird. Trundle is kind of BS. Like, but I don't think that makes him bad. I think his BS level's pretty high, though. I'm going to put him there. Just because his ult is so dumb. Like, you just can't fight this man when he has ult up. And I'm so sorry. I think it should be more clear when you ult someone, and it should be way more obvious. Otherwise, I think it's fine. Tryndamere. I do not dislike Tryndamere as a champion. However, he definitively has problems. Does he deserve to be down here? I don't think so. I think he's like a Garen type champion, right? But a little less cute, I would say. Like, Tryndamere really needs to get more... Like, again, it's just another champion that has an old kit. Like, his Q and W need to be switched around. I'm not really a fan of, like, the way... Like, he's fun to play, but I'm not really a fan of the effect he has on the game. And I think he just needs a full rework. But he's not, like, offensive, and... He doesn't have, like, he doesn't cause any problems for the game. I think he needs to... I think he just needs to get reworked. But... Yeah, I don't know. But I really feel like he needs to be reworked. He probably doesn't belong in Minor Flaws, though. But he could be the top of this. Like, here. I think... Does Garen belong here? No, because he doesn't need a rework like Tryndamere does. Like, he has a kit. He has a thing going on. Okay, yeah, this is fine. And this isn't me hating on Tryndamere. I don't mind if you want to play Tryndamere and just split push top and that's, like, the life you want to live. It's not that. It's that he needs to have a place in the team game version of this game. Does that make sense? He needs to do something with the team. He needs to have something that makes him valuable to his team and not just himself. I guess, if that makes sense. And that's why I feel like he's a problem. Because he has this play style where you ignore your teammates, you tax them, you basically run it in, and, like, yes, there's strategy to it, and yes, there is teamwork in a way to it, but I don't think this champion is like the... I don't think the split push top thing is like what League of Legends should look like or feel like. And so they should give this champion more potential to do stuff in team fights. Like he needs more tools. And let's put it this way, that doesn't make the champion bad. It just makes the champion design bad, right? Like, and so again, no hate intended towards Tryndamere here. Twisted Fate. Oh god, I think I like this guy. He is insanely BS, but he's also one of the most fair champs too. It's weird like that. I would never put him in perfect design, but I think he's fine. I think he's more balanced than Pantheon and Nocturne. No, right here. That's the difference. Because he can build Everfrost and he has a point-and-click stun, I would say he's right there. It's just, this guy is a bot you pick mid lane, and you go and you win other lanes, and you ignore your laner. It's not the most exciting playstyle to have in the game, so I wouldn't put him higher. But it's fine. It's not broken. It's definitely fair. Like, you don't see this guy in pro play, right? So, like, you know it's not broken. But it can be a little obnoxious. And they do have to be careful how much they overtune him, because if his wave clear is too good, then it's, like, too much. But I think he's generally fine. Like, he doesn't need to go. He doesn't need to change. He's fine the way he is. Twitch, oh, God. Oh, thank God I didn't lose. Woo, thank God I didn't lose my progress. You guys, I just had a heart attack, I'm telling you. Oh. Twitch I do not like. I don't like... Here. Yeah, around there. Twitch... I don't think Twitch should be able to build AP. I don't like that Twitch doesn't really need... Like, the whole River Twitch thing is terrible. Like, River Twitch is awful. Oh, God. Jungle Twitch is so cheese. That kind of stuff just shouldn't exist in the game. It's so cheesy, it's terrible. And this champion basically lives on kill experience when it does that. Like, it's so awful. But really, I think this champion is kind of BS. Like, his stealth lasts basically, like, I think it lasts forever. Like, as long as you go, and it's camouflage, granted. You just go into camouflage, you get a shit ton of speed, and you stay in it, I think, for a really long time. If it's not forever, it's like 20 or 30 seconds. It's, like, so stupid. And his whole kit, like, it just doesn't sit right with me. I do not like this champion. I don't know how I would rework him. I don't think he's, like, harmful to you, and I think he's, like, probably not, like, totally unbalanced all the time. But I think it goes to show, like, he's always got a good win rate, almost all the time. He can build so many different builds, and he's just so kind of BS. Like, he just team fights really well. He's really solid. I kind of wish they had changed something about him. But, again, I don't think he's harmful. Udyr. Oh, God, this guy. Udyr's kind of BS, but I think he's overtuned. I think that's why, and I think he's fine. I would not rate him high, though, because I don't think he's well-designed or, like, super fair. But then again, I've never seen him in a meta where he wasn't broken. Like, he's just always been so obnoxious since he's come out, I guess. He just feels so BS. Yeah, so I'm going to put him there, I suppose. I'm not a fan of Udyr since his rework. I will be clear. This is better than before. The Udyr before, whatever that thing was awful. People who played that champion were awful. They did not care about, like, winning for some reason. They literally just ran around in their furry costume being weird. I don't understand, like, what it was that champion was supposed to be doing. It was awful. It was awful to play with, awful to play against. All of the above. The new one is just really, really strong all the time for some reason, and that's why it's hard for me to gauge how fair this champion really can be, because I haven't seen what it looks like when his numbers are normal, because they want him to one-shot people for some reason when he's a tank. So this opinion might change, but for right now, I'm going to say I don't think I like him in his current state. Urgot. I think I like Urgot. He's not as BS as these guys, I think. Skarner might deserve to be a little higher, but... Well, design-wise, Urgot's really cool, so he definitely deserves to be higher. Yeah, he belongs around here. Better than TF, better than Nocturne, better than Quinn. I like him better than Maokai, I like him better than Sedge. Maybe here? Yeah. So Urgot is overtuned all the time. He hasn't been for a while, but I feel like they've overtuned him a lot, and that's why he seemed too strong. But I think the champion's really cool, really unique, really fun. And I think it's like pretty reasonable. Like I don't think his kit is actually problematic. I think it's just Riot. Every time they buff Urgot, they just send it to the moon. And that's how Riot works, right? Again, like a lot of these champions, you might be looking at Swain and thinking, oh, he doesn't belong in this tier, right? Because he's so broken. He's been like 56% win rate for so long. I think his kit is fine. It's just that Riot doesn't like want these champions to be balanced. Like champion, like they want the champion to be way overtuned, way too much, all the time. And that's the problem. They want the meta to shift to brand new champions because the other champions are so much worse. But the champion kits are not the problem. It's Riot, right? In this case, see, and it's funny about with these champions, I feel like they get strong out of nowhere because they're so degenerate, Riot doesn't understand what makes them good. And that's what's funny about these guys. That's not true of all of them, but a lot of them. Like, I think the closer to the bottom list, the more likely you are to just get broken. Oh yeah, we're buffing Duskblade. And then, Akshan's building Duskblade now. Whoa, I didn't expect that. Okay. But yeah, no, Urgot, solid. Good design. Looks good. Cool champion. Cool. Yeah, that's fine. Varus kind of BS. Varus kind of broken, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a huge fan. If you saw Worlds last year, I think you should know that Varus is strong. I don't hate Varus, but definitely something with this champion is not right. I don't know. Something about Varus ain't right. I don't know what it is. He might need rework. I don't know. I don't know how to put it. But that champion just ain't right. All right? Look, watch Worlds last year. This champion's not okay. And it's funny because you never see this. You never see. If you go log on the league right now, unless I'm talking to Faker himself, if you go log in the league right now and play League, you will not run into this champion. If you do, he'll go 0-19. But this champion's not garbage. I don't know what it is. Anyway, Vayne. Vayne's one of these champions that's always on the edge. Fun to play, but total BS. They buff her, and she just goes to high heaven. I think I like her better than Kindred, though. Like, Vayne is a problem. I don't understand why Vayne is frustrating for people, because she's like a hard counter to tanks. I think she's a more reasonable hard counter than, like, something... Well, let me put it this way. I think her Silver Bolts are more reasonable than, like, Set Ult, for example. But... I think what really bothers people is like the drain tank can't kill her kind of status, right? Like the, oh, she has a 2-second cooldown, stealth, and dash. And yeah, it's pretty BS. I'm not going to lie. But she's not broken like all the time. She is kind of hard to play. And she's just a little bit too hard to kill when you get on top of her, I think is the problem. Like, I think she's too good at surviving. So they could, honestly, I think to fix her... And this would curb the frustration a lot. They should give her more damage, but then give her a little bit less survivability, I think, and see where that takes the game. I think in general too, a lot of AD carries are made a lot more BS by Shield Bow. Like I think Shield Bow is kind of a problem item. Maybe I'll do a tier list on problem items, but God, we're already at 3.5 hours, so whatever. Veigar is pretty fair. I think Veigar's fine. He's a little too simple, but I mean he's iconic and funny and people like him and he's fun to play, so I think he's fine. I think he belongs pretty far up here. I kind of like putting him with these guys because he feels like one of these three, like where like he's really fair and sometimes like you can get good mileage out of him if you're good, but he's just not like gonna blow your mind that often. His R is the most BS thing about him because it's point and click, but it's not even that bad. I kind of like Renato Glass better, though. Yeah, I'll put him there. Vel'Koz is alright as well. I don't think his identity is as solid as Veigar's. I think he's about as fair as Veigar is. He's not, like, totally, like, out there. I think I like him. I think he's fine. He's fair, balanced. Not much wrong with him. Not a lot to say here. Usually, the higher they are, the less I have to say. Like if they're here, I have very, very little to say. Like you know what I mean. If they're here, I really have to speak the praise. And if they're down here, I really have to explain to you why they're like the Antichrist. But if they're here, then they're kind of average. I think Vel'Koz's reasonable. It's really easy to kill him when you're on top of him. He can feel really oppressive if his team is peeling for him and he's fed. But that's what a mage is supposed to feel like, right? Um, his mechanics are cool. His skill shots are unique and cool. Just his mechanics in general, like I think people like them. People found them fun. He's a little outdated, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. There's also like a lot of mages that feel kind of samey, like generally, but I think he's fine. Vex. I do not like Vex, but I don't think Vex is the end of the world. Vex feels kind of BS, but I want to put Vex here. What I don't like about Vex is at times it feels too difficult to kill this champion, right? I think that's my problem. So she punishes you one for dashing, which is fine. Like we do need answers to dashes in the game, but the problem is that at the same time as we need answers to dashes, when we have like mages and 80 carries that can like deal damage from a very long distance, we need to be able to like close the gap and punish them. Like we need to be able to like kill them in a fight. And if they're too safe or too difficult to approach, then it can be very annoying. I think Vex is kind of a counter pick, like, right? Like, so, like, there's a lot of champions that do not care about Vex and will kill her. But I think it can be a little bit much. Like, she can be a little bit too hard to dive because of her tools and the way she works around dashes and whatnot. Her resets are cool. I think the resets are obnoxious, but, like they put resets on everything, which is annoying, right? But it's fine. And I don't know. I think his champion's reasonable. Just might need touch-ups here and there. Viego. Oh, boy. Viego is not harmful, but problematic for sure. But he's better than a lot of this. He's just kind of BS, right? He's just kind of really good. Very easy to play. Right here. Maybe. Like, I'm not a fan of Viego, just because he's just really good. And that is just that simple, right? Like, he's just a really, really solid champion. He steals the bodies, stuff like that. There's a lot to take into account when you're fighting a Viego. He has, like, a pseudo-stealth, but you kind of know he's coming. He has double autos, because of course he does. He can build, like, every item under the sun. He has really good jungle clear, really quick. He's just a really, like, strong champion. I think he might even be fine. It just seems like Riot wants him to be broken, and that's kind of where my frustration with this champion goes. It just feels like he does too much damage with like too little input. He feels too strong in too many areas, and maybe he just needs to be toned back. Like I wouldn't say like full rework, but maybe just like some tweaking to his kit, and he wouldn't be here. But I do think they like really want him to be good because Viego's kind of a flagship character now. But like it's just too much, And like we don't. I want them to move away from this. There's like this weird phase that they had where they're like, how cool is it to like steal your opponent's abilities and show them that you're better at their champion? Like why is that a thing? Why do I have to account for my teammates and stuff like that? You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of weird. And I don't really like that. And it opens up, like, methods for your teammates to grief you. Not even intentionally, maybe, but, like, it's kind of dumb. I don't know. Not as bad as Sylas, in my opinion. I think genuinely stealing their body is more reasonable than stealing their ultimate, but I don't know. And they've nerfed him a lot, too. Oh, God. But him becoming invulnerable when he's taking the body is kind of dumb. Like, maybe if he weren't invulnerable, maybe I could be down with this champion. Maybe that's, like, the balance change I want. Victor. Victor is like a Nivea, but like way less BS. I'm not the biggest fan of Victor still, admittedly, but I think he's like a way more reasonable Victor. Or a Nivea, sorry. I think Victor belongs here. Yeah, he's reasonable. Now, he's not my favorite reasonable champion, but he's reasonable. Is he better than Eternal? Yeah. Is he more reasonable than Talon? Yeah, I feel like he's very similar to Talon in my mind. Maybe a little less bullshit than Talon, honestly. Yeah, this is fine. Actually, I think maybe Pyke. Yeah, Pyke can go here. Yeah. This is fine. Vi. I do not like Vi. I'm not gonna lie. Vi is kind of BS and always has been. And she stopped being played for a long time, but she's still very BS. How low would I put her though? Is she worse than Karma? Yeah, probably actually. Misfortune support? I don't know. I feel like. Let's put her right here. I feel like Vi has a lot of tools that make her good in a lot of metas into a lot of champions. But more than anything, I think my problem with Vi, and the problem I've always had, is that she just does so much damage while also not being burstable, right? Like, even her damage bills, I feel like she doesn't get burst fast enough. She just, like, it's kind of ridiculous. Her Q... I'm sorry. Let me remember her abilities. Her Q. Her Q is the dash. It's up so often, which is something I kind of have a problem with. Ending blows is pretty cheesy, like on waves and stuff, but it's not so bad. Like, I don't think it's, like, unreasonable. But her R is really dumb. Like, her R is kind of obnoxious. It's point click. It's a knock up. She flies at you from any distance. She will knock you up. It's kind of dumb. It's not, like, the most broken thing on earth. I feel like she could just feel more fair, and I'd be fine with her. And, like, again, like, I don't think she's, like, that bad. But she just feels a little, like, dumb and unfair. Does that make her... Like, I feel like she's too far down. No, this is fine. Yeah. This is fine. Vladimir. Oh. The champion's so stupid. But, like, every time I play against him, I feel like he's a little less stupid than I felt he was last time. So he's a late game scaling, like, mage assassin kind of thing. He sustains really well in lane, so it's really hard to kill him. And then he reaches this point where he can just kind of, like, run up on you and, like, fucking kill you from full health, and it's ridiculous. I wish he would change a little bit. I don't know if I, like, hate him. Like, he's alright. I mean, he's probably a little bit more practical than Ryze. But for some reason, I enjoy playing against Vlad more than Ryze. Like, Ryze is, like, awful. Like, I hate Ryze. Vlad above Lilia? Probably, yeah. Vlad above Kha'Zix? Yeah. Kayle? Yeah. Yeah. Just because he gets off the ground before these guys. You know what? How about Brand? I'd rather play against Vlad than Brand, I think. That is a weird statement. I'd rather play against Vlad than Udyr. That's really weird. I'm learning things about myself today. Would I rather play against Vlad or Aatrox? Which one? Well, there's more to it than that, right? There's more factors than that, but do I like Aatrox or Vlad more? Aatrox, I think that is my stance right there. I'm gonna say Aatrox is a little bit more dumb than Vlad. Volibear. I like Volibear in theory. Kind of two things. His stun into, like, his whole kit is kind of dumb, like the damage does, and then him turning off towers is kind of dumb. But he's not, like, bad. Like, he's fine, actually. Yeah, he's a little BS, but I think he belongs up here somewhere. Probably more BS than Renekton and Pantheon. Is he more BS than Twisted Fate? I don't know. I'm going to put him right there. Volibear is really good design. I think he's a really cool champion. So, I mean, like, people like this. This is good for the game. It's cool to have cool champions in the game. He's fairly fair, honestly. Like, he's not, like, unreasonable. But he can definitely do some dirty stuff. And he can feel a little oppressive when he's ahead. But, yeah. Warwick, oh, God. I want to love Warwick, but Warwick is such a degen champ. It's insane. This champion is a problem. I want to say put him right here. No, he probably belongs to Tristana. And these champions, actually. Actually, for that matter, I think I want to put Varus here. No, Warwick is more of a problem than those two. Maybe not Karma, though. I put Warwick here. Warwick is, like, a cool champ. Like, his kit's good. But, like, the way he works sometimes is, like, really dumb. Like, top Warwick is, like, not okay. Like, that should not happen. He should stick to the jungle and he'll be fine. Top Warwick is just, like, really, really BS and really unfun to play with. And that's kind of why I rate him so low. But yeah. Wukong's really fair and balanced and reasonable, I think. He does a lot of damage, my, like, only complaint. But that's not even, like, it's not unreasonable, really. He's kind of lame, though. Like, that would be my problem with him. He's, like, a really lame champ. Like, he's easy to play, which is good. And I think he's better for new players than, like, something like Garen, because he actually has, like, a kit that does stuff. But, like, God, he looks so boring. He's not an interesting champion. Xayah is dumb. Xayah is BS. Her ult in itself is kind of BS. Other than that, she's fine. But I wouldn't rank her, like, super high. I would rank her... No, she doesn't deserve to be this low. But she is, like, very BS. Very, very BS. I want to say... here. Yeah, I think it's fine. But then again, is it her or is it her numbers? I might be going too hard on Xayah. No, I think she belongs somewhere around here. Xerath. I like Xerath a lot. I don't like him as a support. I will say that. But Xerath is really cool. He was way cooler back in the day. I think he deserves to be somewhere around Vel'Koz. I feel like Vel'Koz is a little bit better right now. The only reason I rate Xerath lower is just like these champions feel very samey in a lot of ways. But I feel like Xerath is lower because he's played support a lot, and I don't really think support Xerath is like good for the game. But like mid Xerath is a really cool champion. He's hard to play. You know, it's just it's cool to see something like that mid, like a skill expression champion. He's not like anything to write home about, I guess, but he's not a bad champion. He's certainly not an issue. Support though, yeah, and also ARAM, just awful in ARAM. But you know, ARAM has so many problems. It's not really Xerath's fault. Xin Zhao is kind of BS, but is he fair? Ooh, I'm gonna say he rides the line of not being so fair. Do I like Xin Zhao? Is Xin Zhao good for the game? I'm not the biggest fan of him. I feel like he's just a little too BS. Like he just... No, he's so much harder to play now than he was before. No. After the rework, he's fine. Yeah, I'll leave him there. I think he's more BS than Chunel. But, like, I think he's, like, generally fine for the game. He's not, like, he's not an issue anymore, I don't believe. Yasuo. Yasuo's good. Yasuo's actually good. A lot of people hate Yasuo. I think Yasuo's perfectly fine. I wish people didn't feed on him all the time. But, like, he has strengths and weaknesses, like, very well defined. And he's kind of feast and famine-y. Yeah, I think he's fine right here. He's got problems, but, he's good. He's reasonable. I think he's totally fine. Yone is absolutely stupid. Yone is, like, ridiculous. I wouldn't put him in problematic quite, but he's like Yasuo that takes no skill or mechanics or, like, game knowledge. It's kind of awful. Yone... I want to rate him a little low. Definitely. Yeah, he's definitely, like, BS. Not this low. He doesn't deserve to be here. Vex. Vexer. I feel like Yone is worse than Vex. Yeah, I think that's fair. Yone just... He has so many tools on his kit. And there's so much going on. It's kind of dumb. And he does so much damage, and it's just so easy. And, yeah, I don't know. Yorick. I like a. He is like a Lowy. He's fine for the game. I don't personally like him that much, but he's kind of cool looking, right? Like he's fine. He's not bad for the game. Not actively bad. Yeah, I think he's. I think he belongs over here, somewhere. He's cool looking. People will play him. People like him. I think he's fine. I don't love like the split push top only or like you know what I mean kind of champions, but it's fine. Like better than Tryndamere, you know, like design wise, just like equally unplayable, I guess. Yumi, this is easy. This is the worst champion in the game. Like, there's not even a discussion here. This champion is terrible design. They have to completely rework her. She cannot be invulnerable all the time. I'm sorry to say. I like the champion design. She's adorable. She says funny, cute little things. Um, I like Yumi in book. You know what I mean? Like, it's a very cute concept, and they have the models. So I don't think they should get rid of the champion, but they should certainly rework her like significantly. Like almost nothing left of this Yumi is what I would say. Zach. I hate Zach. But he's kind of fair. He's not a terrible champion. He's just so good. I'm going to say he's fine. I think they overtune him a lot, and that's why I find him so frustrating. But I think he's actually a really good champion for the game. I won't rate him here because he's like a little bit too much sometimes. But like, I think he's really good for the game. Like, I like him way more than Sedge. I want to put him there. He's not very exciting champ design. He's not very fun to play, but I think he's like a good like team player. I like the way he affects his team. I like the kind of gameplay he makes for the game. I think like he's a very not toxic champion. He's not like a very greedy champion generally. I think the AP build should be phased out. I don't think you should make this guy like full AP or like he shouldn't be a later. I think all of that has to do with like just him being overtuned. I don't think the champion design is bad. I think Riot just likes to like send this champion to the moon and see how that makes us feel. I don't know why they do that to us either. It's very rude, but it is what it is. Zed. I don't love Zed. Part of the problem with Zed, though, again, I just said this with Zach. They love to buff him until he just doesn't take any brains to play. So he's really not so bad. Like he is kind of an exciting matchup because it's like very aggressive. So I think he's fine. I think he's good. I think he's a little bit more BS than Talon. He's a little bit more BS than Pike. Yeah, I'd put him here. I think he's fine though. I think it's good to have like super mechanical champions that are like really cool, and when you pull off cool stuff, that you do cool stuff. But it can be a little frustrating to like take other players' agencies out of the game, you know, because his kit can feel very like oppressive sometimes. But I think he's good. I think he's fine. I think he's fairly fair. They need to stop buffing the shit out of him and making him disgusting. But yeah, I think we'll get there. Zeri is a problem. Undeniably belongs down here somewhere. Where, I don't know. Are you harmful for the game? I wouldn't say that, but you are definitely in need of like some tweaks. I have a lot of the same problems with Zeri that I have with Aurelion, I think. But worse than Samira? Probably. Worse than Senna? Yeah. Yeah, this is probably the right spot. The problem is she's cool, and she has a cool kit in theory, but she's just so strong. They have to, like, nerf the crap out of her to keep her in the game, you know what I mean? So, like, what's the point then? Like, why not just rework her at that point? We can't have her, you know? That's me. So I think that's a bad champ, and that should probably be fixed. And I think they have a lot to work with, like, right? Like, it's not like they have to, like, you know, throw everything away and make a new champion. Like, they have a champion here. They just need to make the kit more reasonable. And it's almost there, I think. Just a few changes will do it. Ziggs. Ziggs. I think Ziggs is good. Generally. I think the tower stuff is a little degenerate, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't think it's like unreasonable. think I put Ziggs here. I would prefer, instead of like the tower cheese stuff that he... Oh, you know what? Actually, that's kind of his identity, blowing stuff up. So no, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. No, he's fine as he is. I wouldn't say he's perfect. I don't think he's like a perfect champion, but I like him. He's good. Zilean. Not good. I do not like this guy. I don't think he's good for the game. I don't like him very much. How BS is he really, though? I think he's more BS than Fiora. And Viego. And Tom? No, I would put him here. I think revives are already like a very suspect place to be. I don't think they're generally like a good mechanic. You get to be really careful with those. I don't like Zilean because his kit is too simple, and in that way it's powerful, right? Like, so he literally has an ability that says your other cooldowns abilities go down by so much. Okay. You know what I mean? That's stupid. He has the double bombs are fine. Like the bombs are fine because they're hard to get the stun on. Like they're not like just easy. You can. There's a ton of counterplay to it. So in that way he's fine. But his speed up, his experience passive, and his R are just really dumb. Like they're just really unfair, and they probably have no place in this game. Kind of similar to Nyla. So yeah, I would say this guy needs a full rework. Zoe is fine. I don't think she's terrible. This champion has... it's always on the line. But again, I think if the numbers are right, this champ is okay. I can see why people get frustrated by it. I think the playstyle is a little... like the range extension through walls is a little questionable. Really, the picking up summoners is probably the worst thing. And I think if they got rid of that, this would be fine. But where would I put you? I don't think you belong this low. I think you're better than that. Vlad? I think Vlad is more bull. I think Aatrox is more bull too. Maybe in between Aatrox and Lucian. Yeah, I think I'm fine with that. So, like, I think if they change that... Like, and they can give her power elsewhere, but I think it's just such a dumb mechanic, you know what I mean? Like... If you gotta, like, instead of picking up summoner spells, like, I think your whole W should go for probably a different ability. And it could be a utility ability the same way, or, like, I don't know, something, but it should be a little different. But I don't hate this champion. I know people, like, really hate her for 1,000 different reasons. Like, she's just, like, a recycled anime trope in this game, and she had that whole long meta where she was one-shotting people. I think she's alright. There's nothing wrong with having like a bunch of silly scamp champions in the game, you know what I mean? Like, as long as they're not all of them, right? Like, oh, actually, really, the majority of our champions, if you look at this list, are like super edgy, or they're white girls, right? That's like a whole cast. So having something different is nice, and I think she's different enough. Like, she's colorful, she's excited, she's like, I don't know. I think she's a fine design for the game. I think they just need to make her kit a little bit more fair, and we'll be fine. Zyra is awful to play against. It's just so annoying. This champion's really obnoxious. Not like a real broken champion or anything, just annoying. Not something I would enjoy playing against. I would put it somewhere, right, like maybe right here. I don't think, like, again, I don't think she's good. She's just, like, really unfun to play against. Like, so annoying. And I don't, like, I don't really think she's fun to play. I don't know why anyone plays her, to be honest. She's just egregious. Just terrible. So, I don't know. That's where I would put her. You know, if she were a mid laner, it might be more reasonable too. But it's like the support Zyra I think of. So, yeah, it's pretty bad. K'Sante. Where do I want to put you? Where do I want to put you? I'm not actually putting you in harmful. I think he's fine. I think he's got a lot going on in his kit. He's a little complicated, and that's a little annoying. I think he's pretty new champy, you know, but I don't think he's, like, there. I think he's up here somewhere. I think he's a little too tanky. Like, I think he just does not take any damage, and I don't like that he can switch between taking damage and not taking damage and dealing damage. Like, I think it should be one or the other, and I've said that before many times. I wouldn't rate him this high. I don't like him this much. Probably like him more than Gragas and Master Yi for the game, and Kog'Maw. Maybe around here. Excuse me. Sorry. But yeah. I think he's alright. Is that really everyone? I think so, right? But yeah, yeah. So these are my tiers. There's a lot less down here than I thought there'd be, to be honest. I will say, honest to God, if we just, did this, let's scroll up just a little bit and just removed every champion below this category right here, I think the game would be perfect. No, it wouldn't fix it necessarily. But, no, I feel pretty confident in this. There might be little things I would change around and move around, but I think this is generally where I'm at. So, yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I really appreciate you guys. If you made it this far, I'm assuming not many of you will make it to 4 hours. And even if you do, you probably skip through. But either way, I mean, if you watch any amount of this video, I appreciate you. But yeah, y'all take care, and I'll catch y'all later.